Oh my gosh. I'm Nick, this is Willie. Welcome to the Boys at a Bar Sports Talk.
For professionalism at its finest, baby.
Yeah. Hey, this is the first time we're doing this, so we're just kind of going with the flow. But anyway, so we're going to start with the off-season moves this past season with the NFL, how we think they go. We'll be talking about a little bit about sports betting later. You spelled boys wrong. Well, no shit. Anyway, we're going to talk about the offseason moves at first, and then we'll talk about who we think is going to win the division, maybe some MVP runners later on. So we'll start with the NFC East.
So I definitely think as far as the Buffalo Bills, we're going to start out with, I think Josh Allen is probably the highlight of this team as far as MVP candidate goes. He's definitely a top 5 MVP candidate. And if we're looking at the offseason, I don't think they made as many moves as some of the other teams, but they definitely had a pretty big O-line overall. They got Forrest Lamp, Bobby Hart, Darrell Williams, and John Bellashino. I definitely think that if O-line is their biggest area of concern, they definitely addressed it. What?
So, in my opinion, the Bills, let's be honest, they were pretty fucking good last year. Adding to that O-line, adding that O-line is just going to fucking, I don't know what's going to happen. But they're going to be hard to stop.
I definitely think this will help Devin Singletary and Zach Moss as far as getting an established, running game going. Because last year I definitely think they struggled. But maybe this O-line will help pick things up. Because I definitely think that if you look at their their team last year, they really struggled to run the ball in comparison to their passing game. Because Stephon Diggs last year led the league in, yards?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, and he was an absolute monster. He had, I think, a little under 1,600. So if these O-line moves can definitely get them going a little bit better, I definitely think that'll be the move. I think the next team in that division we'll probably talk about is the Dolphins. Dolphins had a couple signings. I think the highlight, I think they're gonna beat the Vikings. Oh, I think so. Come on, let's be honest. The Bills are pretty stout.
Oh yeah, Bills. Like I said, I think they're going to be one of the best teams. I actually have Josh Allen winning MVP this year. We'll talk about a little about that later. They're going to beat the Vikings.
We are well aware of it.
The Packers, probably. He quit drinking though. You boys need a green screen. Yeah, we'll be getting to the green screen later on. This is just the start of it and all that stuff. So I also am going to get probably a better camera so we can start like Bowling's ex-girlfriend. Okay, listen. We're just got to talk about it. They were talking about you-know-who. And I was like, dude, because they're calling her fat. And I was like, she wasn't fat. She's stout. And it just came out so wrong. So now that's like the ongoing joke.
She's fluffy.
She's fluffy. So,
Miami Dolphins. I think the highlight of their offseason was definitely Will Fuller. Can he stay healthy? If anything, as far as the Texans go, as for an indication, Will Fuller's probably going to play 6-7 games, if we're being honest.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I've always liked Will Fuller a lot. Think about being on the Texans, especially if DeAndre Hopkins is out. You're literally their only option because David Johnson was ass, in my opinion, besides the first game.
And Randall Cobb was a shell of himself.
Exactly. So can we blame Will Fuller, or can we blame the Texans for overusing him? I guess we'll see this season.
Well, I mean, even when they had Nook, he was still constantly hurt. It wasn't a development that was recent. It's plagued him his whole career.
Yeah.
And I definitely think this first offseason with him as the undisputed number 1 to attack Toviglia will definitely, I think, go into this year playing a little bit better. I've seen in camp, he's throwing deep balls. He's not forcing looks. He said he feels a lot more comfortable this year. Do they lean on him?
So you're thinking he's gonna be good too? So the
I
problem,
really think
the
that
problem
it's a
I look
toss-up.
at, why was the owner shit talking him? Basically saying they want Deshaun Watson, even if all this shit going on around the world, and the allegations. How can you put that name over your starting quarterback right now, in your opinion?
I mean, I personally think that was a misstep on the owner. I think that.
Or does he just not know what he's talking about, and he just wants to win, and he sees Deshaun.
I mean,
he sees Deshaun Watson probably from 4 years ago, and was
as
like,
far
damn.
as proven talent goes, I definitely think that Deshaun Watson definitely has an edge over Tua. But
yeah, but
I think
Tua's young.
Tua has. I think the draft pedigree. If you look at how he played at Alabama, if he might be given a little bit more time, Tua could probably develop into a similar style player that Deshaun Watson is. Like, he has the mobility. I definitely think he has the arm talent. I just think that he needs more reps in the offense. Maybe, let's say he doesn't put it together all this year. Maybe he needs one more year and then he's taken off. But from the way it seems, the Dolphins are not interested in giving him that much leeway.
Yeah.
It seems like his leash is rather short in comparison to maybe a lot of the other younger quarterbacks in the league.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of younger quarterbacks, let's take a pause real quick. If you had to pick one quarterback out of this rookie class, who would you start besides Trevor Lawrence?
Well, it's funny you say that. I think that'll lead perfectly into our next team. Mac Jones, baby, he's already started.
Mac Jones, come on, Trey Lance.
No. Mac Jones is a young Tom Brady.
Anyway,
Maybe an unpopular opinion, but I definitely think Mac Jones will. I think he has a chance to do something good, especially with all the money that team spent in the offseason.
Gotcha. So this is my buddy Willie. You've played with him a couple times on Apex. This is our podcast we'll be doing once a week. And we're just getting into the NFL season right now. So, but talking about Mac Jones, I do think he's good. I thought he was going to probably start over Cam anyway, because Cam last year was a better running back than a passing quarterback.
Yeah, he had, I think, 8 passing touchdowns, 10 picks, and I think 12 scores on the ground.
Yeah, he looked awful too. Like, he was missing throws. He just.
Well, yeah, it's that bum shoulder. I don't think he's really ever recovered. His style of play for a quarterback is way too physical. I know in years past he would always complain that because of his size he wouldn't get calls on him. But I think regardless, I just think Cam's career as a starter is probably.
I think it's over.
Yeah, I think it's a thing of the past. He definitely, I think.
I could see him going to a team that has a young quarterback just so he can help coach as a quarterback.
I honestly think he could step into RG3's role behind Lamar. Yeah. He definitely has the same play style. I just think that when you bring...
But see, at least Griffin's accurate. Cam Newton right now can't throw a ball to save his life.
But I think
Is that his shoulder injury?
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you look at his final year in Carolina, he had no arm power.
Yeah.
He looked like he might have been like 40-year-old Drew Brees trying to throw the football.
That was pretty bad.
I definitely think New England went out of their way, though, to make sure whatever quarterback they had behind the... huddle was definitely well prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think they overpaid on Nelson Aguilar. 2 years, $26 million. He definitely probably didn't deserve that money without. He didn't have the stats to back up that kind of cash.
Oh, come on now! He had one good game in the playoffs back in 2017.
He had 800 yards last year, but 2 years, $26 million. You're betting a lot on.
Oh no, I know.
An unproven talent. Then they signed Hunter Henry, 3 years, $37 million, even after signing Jonnu Smith.
Well, you know why? So they drafted Stevenson, and he's going to be basically their number one. And I guarantee you they're going, look at every Bill Belichick team that was good. Double tight, run the football, short passes.
Well, yeah, no, I'm definitely, as far as a Bill Belichick offense.
This team might surprise people.
These moves definitely make sense. Like, this is classic 2011, 2012. Mm-hmm. Gronk, he who must not be named, other tight end. Playbook.
Yeah.
They also got Trent Brown in a trade, who I think is an excellent O-lineman who will keep Mac Jones upright as far as giving him a little more time to throw, because a lot of this offense looks like it's similar to a Brady-era offense.
Oh, it is.
It's a lot of timing as far as you need chemistry with your receivers.
Well, if you think about it, if you get the ball out fast, too, you're taking less shots.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I think that's part of the reason, too. Give him max protection when you run it. And then when you are throwing it, you're only throwing 5 to 10 yards.
And we can't ignore the other side of the ball for New England, because they got Matthew Judon, who never been an all-star caliber player, but he's definitely a pretty good rotational pass rusher. I don't know that 4 years, $56 million for a player that's had, a consistent 6, 7, 8 sacks over the past couple of years.
Yeah,
it's worth it. But who knows? Maybe Matthew Judon will show up in this season. Bill will get the best out of him, and he'll come out here and dominate.
Maybe.
I think the last team we need to talk about is the Jets.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I was going to say Zach Wilson in the preseason has looked absolutely excellent.
And I'm telling you right now, for your fantasy players, Corey Davis is a sleeper. We will talk later in the season. You'll agree, but I'm telling you right now, he put up good numbers. Where was he last year? He was with Tennessee, right?
He was with Tennessee.
And he put up decent numbers, and he wasn't even the first string. He was what?
Well, he was first string, but he wasn't the number one receiver. He was number 2 behind AJ.
That's
Brown.
why AJ. Yeah. So I'm thinking Corey Davis is gonna be good. Zach Wilson's looking really good.
I definitely feel bad for the Jets though, as far as injuries go so far. They've lost their marquee signing and Lawson in the offseason. So they had to go get his brother from the Texans. They lost another D lineman due to injury. So I definitely think as far as injury goes, the Jets looked good with some of their offseason moves. I definitely think that they're not looking too odd as far as...
Now, when we say look good, don't play it. We don't think they're going to have a winning team.
No.
But they're going to step in the right direction. They've got a lot of picks coming up, I think, in this next draft because of all the trades they've had the past couple of years. They've just been... The problem with the Jets is, in my opinion, is they trade, but when they trade players, they just get a bunch of draft picks instead of players. So, yeah, you're getting all these draft picks, but then you're getting all these inexperienced teams, and you're killing them because there's not many veterans around. So, that signing of Corey Davis, I think, is good, and I mark my words, one day the Jets might be a 500 team, but it's not going to be for a couple of years, in my opinion.
I think that if Zach Wilson goes out, balls out, if they can free up some cap space for the offseason, they can make a bunch of moves. I think next year they could be hover around the 500 team.
If I remember the chart right, I'll pull it up a little later. I want to say Jets are one of the top 5 most cap space for next year.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I think so.
All right, as far as offseason goes, I think next we're going to move on to the AFC North. Trying to bounce around
Ravens.
a little bit. Yeah, first team we're going to talk about is Baltimore. Something we need to address is their wide receiver core. Marquise Brown and Boykin definitely were not getting it done. Marquise Brown has been definitely inconsistent. So I don't think Sammy Watkins is going to definitely get him over that hump. Sammy's pretty notorious for coming out the first couple games of the season, balling out, and then the rest of the year being an absolute nobody in the offense. But
then in the playoffs, he comes alive. So
yeah,
there's hope.
We're definitely, I think, a playoff caliber team.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then Rashad Bateman, who is hurt, like all the Ravens players here recently. But I definitely think Rashad Bateman is another player that will maybe free up Marquise, maybe free up Boykin, give him a little bit more space to throw it. But who knows? And something else that we need to talk about is their O-line. We had a couple signings like Villanueva, but
He's
throughout...
Good.
What?
He's good.
Yeah, he is. But throughout the preseason and the offseason, we've dealt with a lot of injuries, and we have a lot of new O-linemen. I definitely think on a team that is run first, all of our O-linemen having issues with injuries is probably going to be a pretty huge deal because they have had no time to gel.
Yeah.
Because some players can probably walk into a system, do just fine, but I think as far as O-line with a quarterback that's going to constantly rush and a offense that is built around just running it up the gut, I definitely think these limited snaps are probably going to affect us the first couple weeks of the season.
But see, you also got to understand, in my opinion, so sports betting, if you're betting on sports, NFL teams in general, the first 4 weeks are the hardest to bet on because you don't know where every team that comes into the season think they have a shot. Even the Jets. I was watching a Pat McAfee show, and one of the Jets players said, yeah, every season we thought we were going to the Super Bowl because they have to buy into it. So you got to understand, every team thinks and say that they're going to do it. Yeah, I'm a diehard Vikings fan. Every year I say we're going to do it. But do we? No. So I think the first 4 weeks, I haven't looked at your schedule. Do you know who you got?
Off the top of my head, the first 4 weeks, no. I'm a pretty week-to-week kind of guy as far as schedule goes.
So I'm thinking the Ravens are probably going to have a nice run at first because they always do. But just give them time to develop together, build that chemistry, and I think they'll be fine. But that's every team in the NFL. That's every team has new people that has to get used to the system.
So our first 4 weeks are the Raiders, which I think is a winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs, which is going to be an uphill battle for sure.
So we'll go 1-1.
And then we got the Lions and Broncos.
3-1. So I think they'll go 3-1 the first 4 weeks.
I definitely think the Broncos are a team that shouldn't be slept on this year.
They aren't.
Their defense is still just as stout. Teddy is definitely the player that minimalizes turnovers. He might not be the kind of person that's going to push the ball downfield.
But see, he did last year with this, or not last year, but when he played with the Saints, he actually was pushing the ball downfield, which everyone loved because that's not the Teddy that we're used to. We're used to those 5-yard, 10-yard passes, the Sam Bradford era.
Yeah.
Or the Vikings, how we used to go is we just passed
I think, honestly, if his issue was anything last year, it was Matt Rule probably knew that Teddy was probably nothing more than a stopgap.
Panthers, that's who he was with.
Was just trying to get through the season,
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was.
Teddy actually looked pretty good in the preseason. So did Drew Lock, I think, honestly. But they had to make a choice.
I really did like Drew Lock. They both were doing really good.
Yeah, but Drew just had such a...
He's so inconsistent.
Yeah, I was going to say one game you get a player that looks like he might be your next franchise quarterback, and the next one is like,
I think the big...
Blaine Gabbert 2.0.
Yeah.
Right out of Mizzou, baby.
I think the big difference between the two... I think it came down to who will have the most turnovers, and that would have been Drew Lock. So they went with Bridgewater. I think because Drew Lock's a little bit more flashy, but Bridgewater's not going to turn the ball over as much because he's smarter with it. He doesn't want to be flashy. He doesn't want to take those chances.
All right. So next we got to talk about the Bungles. Sorry, Bengals.
The Bungles. We'll stick with the Bungles.
You can't not talk about Joe Burrow, honestly. Joe Burrow this offseason has not looked too hot coming back from his ACL injury. He looks pretty skittish, which from a team that has no O-line and someone that just tore his ACL, I get it. It's definitely a fear he's going to have to overcome if this team is going to go anywhere. I just don't know. They definitely have the skill positions as far as like T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and then Jamar Chase, who may or may not have been the right pick considering your quarterback now looks like he's scared of his own shadow.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have taken Penei Sewell or Sewell, however you pronounce it. But
I don't know.
And I know Jamar's looked horrible in the preseason. He had those 3
Higgins
drops.
played with Burrow, didn't he?
No, T. Higgins played with, he was a Clemson guy.
Clemson, that's right. With Lawrence, right?
Yeah, he played with Trevor Lawrence, I believe. Trevor's Heisman year.
Okay. So Higgins, in my opinion, he's just going to have time. Look at Jefferson. He didn't start kicking it till 3rd week of last year. And he was the best rookie receiver.
I mean, yeah, maybe Jamar Chase just needs a little bit more reps.
Jamar Chase, yeah.
Especially with Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow has looked bad and can't, maybe those two just need a little bit more time.
I will give Joe Burrow some credit. He's a tough son of a bitch. When he was taking shots that literally looked like he just got murdered on the field, get up, walk, and run the next play. Like it blew my mind. He's a tough guy.
I definitely think, plus taking all of last season off during like the whole COVID problem for college football, I think Jamar Chase maybe just needs to get reacclimated, get up back to speed with football. Maybe once he plays a little bit more, gets a couple actual NFL snaps under his belt, he might be someone in fantasy down the line that could be a sleeper.
So you think he's a sleeper or bust?
I would say a sleeper. I don't know if I'd call anyone a bust at this point.
I think he would be a good flex receiver towards the end of the season, middle to end of the season. He'd be a good flex. He's not your receiver 1 or 2, but he's someone that you can just plug in real quick and gets probably 10 points at least.
All right, what about Cleveland?
All right. I've been actually excited to talk about the Browns because after that run last year, we have a buddy that's a big Steelers fan, all right? And I think it was perfect that the Steelers were so cocky to pull their starters the last game against the Browns and lost, which gave the Browns a shot in the playoffs. And then they lose to the freaking Browns in the playoffs. Like, it's just a perfect storm, you know what I mean? But Cleveland, man, they have in my opinion, a really good defense. They got, look at just the front line. They have Clowney and Myles Garrett going off the edge. That is going to be a tough duo.
A signing I think is going to go underrated is the safety Josh Johnson. He played great for the Rams the past couple years.
Yep.
It's probably a move that isn't going to get looked at as well as maybe a Jadeveon Clowney move, but I think moves like that Josh Johnson ones are the ones that win Super Bowls.
And you also got to look at, they also got Riley Reif from the Vikings, and Riley Reif was, he was one of the
trash.
He was one of the best tackles in the league. Let up the most. Yeah, he let up like the least amount of sacks. The only reason why we couldn't keep him is because we couldn't pay him. And they also got Mike Hughes. Mike Hughes is, that was Bengals. We'll go back to Bengals real quick. They got Mike Hughes, right?
I don't think so. Who got Mike Hughes?
Or no, the Chiefs.
It was not the Chiefs. It was the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Because it was with the Breland trade. So we'll talk about Mike Hughes later. That was my bad.
I definitely think that Cleveland, if they are going to be a team that makes a Super Bowl run, I definitely think that you need Baker Mayfield to be more than a glorified game manager. He needs to go out there. He needs to push the ball down the field. They have Kareem Hunt. They have fucking...
Is Odell going to have a bounce-back season?
I think so. I want to know
what's up with Odell. Because if you think about it, he is like... He was one of the best receivers, and now he's so inconsistent. You don't know what you're getting out of him. Is he going to be a locker room problem? Because think about it, the Browns sucked with Landry and Odell. As soon as Odell gets hurt, they go on a huge run. So something's happening, I think, and it'll be just time will tell until we figure that out.
Speaking of playoffs, though, is Big Ben's arm going to deteriorate before we get there again?
Yeah. I think the Steelers are dumb for keeping him. They need to sit him down and be like, listen, we know you've done a lot for our team, but we have to move on.
They have already said that as long as Big Ben probably wants to go out there and throw that football, Big Ben will be the starter behind that O-line.
And in my opinion, it's dumb.
It is. I honestly, if I was Big Ben, whenever I saw my longtime center retire in the offseason, I think that might have been the time I got out of there too. I know he probably still has a lot that he wants to prove, but I think at one point he needs to look at his overall legacy on the game. How are people going to remember Big Ben? Is it going to be that huge quarterback that would shrug off hits, throw dots in the corners of the end zone, or are they going to remember Big Ben who would struggle to throw the ball down the field towards the end of his career?
Yeah.
Because if he can't go the whole season, who knows? Maybe halfway through the year, Big Ben will get an injury, and he'll miss maybe 3 or 4 games just to give his arm a little break, throw maybe Dwayne Haskins out there, Mason Rudolph. Maybe they're going to do a classic load management like basketball.
I wonder if he's vaccinated. Because that's another thing you got to look at now, apparently. Because if you're not vaccinated, if you're in contact, you're missing the game.
Well, yeah, that's, for example, the Ravens. I personally wouldn't have picked up Lamar in fantasy because I think that taking a player that has a risk like that is horrible.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of elite players in the league, too, that don't. Carson Wentz.
Kirk Cousins.
Elite. Darius Leonard. Darius Leonard's another one I saw earlier.
Oh, he's not vaccinated?
No, and he actually has a pretty strong stance against it. I think that Leonard Fournette was one that wasn't, but I think I saw something the other day that all of the Bucs are now vaccinated. So I think that might not be an issue, but who knows? We also can't not talk about T.J. Watt. I have seen recently that the talks have gone horrible, they've gone south.
Yep, and I've heard. So I'm kind of hearing mixed reports. I hear he's not playing, and then I hear he's not doing practice. And we're just talking about practice. But T.J. Watt, in my opinion, if he isn't doing the team drills, only doing individual, how is he going to have a healthy season? Because he's not getting the hits. He's not, you know what I mean? When you look at last year with no preseason and lack of training camp, there was a lot of injuries.
There was a lot of injuries.
So if your stance is I'm not playing until I get paid, I get it, but in my opinion, I just think it's gonna be hard for TJ Watt to stay healthy, and I just hate seeing players that hold out, and I hate it so much. Like, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers, that was a fucking headache. It was dumb. But
speaking of Le'Veon Bell, Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
Baltimore
just signed Le'Veon today.
I definitely think it is a move that was one that was needed to be made. With the Achilles injury to Justice Hill, the ACL injury to J.K. Dobbins, I definitely think we needed to pick someone up. The Gus Bus is definitely a between tackle runners. I think Le'Veon Bell adds a dimension to the offense that wasn't necessarily there before. He's definitely a receiver in the backfield. Is Edwards
hurt or is he COVID? I think I read a report he.
No, that's the Gus Bus, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not hurt.
He's not? Okay.
No. At least I haven't seen any reports about it. I definitely think that next would be the AFC South we need to talk about. Houston Texans.
One more before we move on. Steelers defense. Do they live up to the Steelers defense as they were last year? My personal opinion, no. For the fact
they have Mika Fitzpatrick still. They did lose Mike Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think this is another team that rattles off 11 straight victories.
No.
There's no shot. I definitely think this is a team that is probably third in the division. They're definitely fighting an uphill battle. I mean, they still got Juju back. Chase Claypool had a pretty monster rookie year. He's probably going to come out there and do it again. So I think as far
if
as
he has a quarterback.
Yeah, if Big Ben can go out there and throw it.
That's going to be... Who's the running back now?
It's Najee Harris.
Yeah, I think I like him.
He definitely has a Jerome Bettis vibe to him.
Yeah.
He's definitely maybe a more throwback Steelers player, which I think is probably what they were going for. But, I don't know. I think that defense might struggle a little bit early. They definitely still have the pieces. That O-line definitely had a lot of turnover. I don't know. I think they're a team that might get double-digit victories, but it's going to be pushing it.
I think they're a team that is literally hit or miss. They can go out. I think they're going to be so inconsistent. I think they're going to go out 1 week, score 40 points, but then the next week lose by 20.
And I can see it. I can totally see it.
So now we'll move on to
Houston Texans.
Houston Texans. Trash.
I mean, there's not really much to talk about as far as this team goes.
If there's one team that could be worse than the Jets, it's going to be the Texans.
For sure.
I'll even put the Lions over both of them.
I think the Houston Texans probably fighting for last place in the NFL. You know what I mean? They're definitely a team that's playing for next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely glad to see Tyrod Taylor get another chance to start. I don't think he's had a fair shake at the NFL.
Last year was rough.
You look at the Bills, led them to the playoffs, ended that drought. You look at who did he play? With the Bills, the Browns.
And didn't play bad with the Browns.
No, he played fine. Then he went to...
And that was a bad Browns team at the time.
He went to the Chargers, gets his lung punctured, loses the starting job. Justin Herbert, probably the best thing possible for the Chargers.
So have you noticed? I remember reading something. Every team he played for, he lost to the rookie quarterback. Something happened where he would...
Well, he's always been kind of a bridge quarterback. He's not a franchise play caller, but he's definitely someone that could still go out there and win you games. He led the Bills to the playoffs. I don't even think that was a Bills team that comes anywhere close to the one they have now.
No.
He was doing stuff. He was making plays out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really think there's much to talk about with the Houston Texans.
No.
So let's go on and move on to the Colts.
The Colts. Brown, if you watching, fuck you. But I just want to tell a little story. So last year, I'm high on the Vikings like I am all the time. My buddy Brown, he goes, hey, let's make a bet. I was like, okay. He goes, between the Colts and the Vikings, whoever has the most wins, the opposite person has to shave their head bald. And for some of you people that's been on this channel for a while, I lost that bet and had to shave my head bald.
Looked pretty good.
It was rough. It was definitely rough. But anyway, so the Colts are a team that...
Mr. Eggman out here.
The Colts are a team, in my opinion, that has a great defense. But with T.Y. Hilton getting hurt, I think he's out, 4 to 6 weeks?
I think he's out 7. I think they put him on the physically unable to perform list.
Okay, yeah, they might have. So, Paris Campbell, I remember talking to you in Memphis. We were like, dude, Paris Hilton's gonna be the next, or Paris
Paris Campbell is definitely gonna be a hell of a football player.
Paris Campbell, I think, is the next T.Y. Hilton.
She can definitely catch some balls.
That was good. So, can he stay healthy? That's going to be the question mark on the Colts. Can their offense, because they got Jonathan Taylor that's a fucking stud.
If we're talking about injuries, we can't ignore Big Q. Quentin Nelson is definitely, I would argue, probably the best player on that offense. He's an all-pro. He's an all-pro for a reason. He's arguably the best guard. I think he probably is the best guard in the NFL. Having him out is going to be killer.
Yeah.
And a foot injury for an O-lineman that could linger would be a huge ordeal.
Yeah.
Can Carson Wentz put it together?
So I heard reports that he might be ready for Week 1. I would like to say I like Carson Wentz. Could the Colts found a better quarterback this offseason? Possibly.
Yeah, you're right. Phillip Rivers could have stayed around. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no. It's time for Phillip to go coach high school like he's doing right now.
And he's killing it.
He is killing it. He just won 60-0.
He's like 40-something.
Yeah.
Either way.
But Carson Wentz, I know a lot of people don't like him, but he is one of those guys that can be flashy and a game manager. So it's like he has a perfect balance.
Do you know who their backup is?
Well, it was Ellinger, but I think he might have gotten hurt. So I think their top two got hurt. I don't know. Brown would know more about that.
I'm just pure curiosity.
Yeah, but in my opinion, the Colts defense, they're good. As much as I like to shit talk Xavier Rhodes, he's still Xavier Rhodes, and we'll have to see how he plays.
Jacob Eason.
Yep, Eason and
he actually I don't think looked that bad. He didn't look.
Either.
I know, but as far as you're reliant on maybe a backup, you could definitely do worse in the NFL.
Yeah. My thing is the only thing that scares me. So with the Colts, are they just getting by? They had a lot of cap money. Why didn't they do moves? Apparently, they're a team that just doesn't like doing moves. They like staying.
Well, they're not flashy.
No,
They believe in in-house talent. If they have a hole, they might fill it with maybe I'm not gonna say a superstar, but a player that's probably average quality.
Yeah.
Someone that can just jump into a system and maybe play right away. I definitely think there's a couple of things on this team. Like I think Kwity Paye, if you know who that is, the D lineman they drafted.
Yeah.
Man is an athletic freak. I definitely think he'll help with DeForest Buckner. You got Darius Leonard. Rockison is still a player I think that is going to develop into someone good. I definitely think this is a team that if they can get somewhat any consistency out of the offense would definitely, I think they still have a shot to win this division.
I think the Colts really need to just...
Well, maybe not a shot to win the division with the Titans, but they definitely have a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I think they need to go to old school football, good defense, run the ball. That's because they got Jonathan Taylor, absolute stud, and Nyheim Hines, in my opinion, is fucking a good scat back. And good third down back.
Do not forget that they also have Marlon Mack.
Like they have Marlon
They
Mack.
have a committee of running backs that could probably do a lot for a team that is struggling at quarterback.
They remind me of the Vikings when they had Cook, Murray, and Jerick McKinnon. That's a perfect, you know what I mean, translation to that. And that was one of our best seasons we had until Cook got hurt.
How about Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence, I think, is going to be the best the first season.
Really?
Yeah.
Jacksonville's a team. They don't really have a whole lot of talent around them. Their O-line kind of sucks. Their defense is still in the middle of a rebuild.
What I'm really interested to see with the Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, everyone's seen the stat. He's only lost 2 games in of his football career, high school and college combined. How is he going to respond to losing in the NFL? Because it's going to happen. You can't win. Every week's going to be a hard week to win. Especially with Jacksonville that doesn't have that many weapons. Yeah, they have James Robinson. They have Chark, I think, so they still have. But out of the rookie quarterbacks, I think he is set up the least.
He definitely went into a situation that's probably not advantageous of the other rookie quarterbacks.
And that's what happens when you get a first or second round pick.
Yeah, I was going to say if you look at
or number 1
for
or 2
example,
pick.
Mac Jones is walking into a team that just spent $150 million. The Bears still have that stacked defense. They still have Allen Robinson. You look at the Niners; they're still a team that made the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They were
Great defense.
Yeah, they were just bombarded by injuries last year. So if Trey Lance gets a chance to start, I think Trey Lance.
Trey Lance is starting. I'm telling you, by week 4.
What other rookie quarterback we missing?
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson is another team or another player on a team that went out and made a bunch of moves because they knew this is the way we want to go.
Yep.
I know Jacksonville probably tried to at least set him up in a position, but I just don't think Jacksonville has the talent right now.
Not right now. I'm not saying it's.
And I think Trevor Lawrence, I don't think he's going to come out and look like a bust. I just think that he's going to come out and maybe have a pretty average season in comparison to maybe some of his peers.
Yeah, but see, that's a bust compared to because they have him as the next Peyton Manning, and that's a huge.
Yeah, I wouldn't say bust. Bust is Jamarcus Muscle Ryan Leaf.
I get it, but I think just counting this season alone, he's a bust in my opinion because I don't think he's going to live up to expectations.
Probably not. We can't not talk about Tebow Mania. It was running wild for the shortest amount of time.
It was fun while it lasted, you know.
He set maybe the most pitiful block in NFL history, but, you know, he looked all right in practice as far as catching a ball went. He definitely probably should never have took that
time off.
Well, no, not even that. He probably shouldn't have taken that time away from a younger talent they could have developed.
Yeah.
Like, if they were trying to go for maybe a Taysom Hill, I could kind of get it, but at the same time, I don't get it. Like,
it was a weird move.
He sold jerseys. He sold a lot of jerseys.
It was great publicity.
So did Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence will also sell you jerseys.
My thing is with Tebow is the fact of he took, what was it, 4 years off?
I mean, yeah, the transition from football to baseball to football probably was rather rough. Yeah, I was going to say, then you have broadcasting scattered throughout that whole process.
So, it sucks. It was well-lived. And we all had that question mark of, because everyone said it, he'd be a great tight end. Well, we learned that wasn't necessarily the case.
If maybe whenever he went to New England in like 2015 in the preseason, he would have made that transition to tight end, maybe?
Yes, maybe he would be better.
Maybe he'd still...
He needed to go to a team that was okay with cutting someone else and keeping him on the team to let him learn as it went. Because I do think if he would have been able, as much of an athlete as he is, if you gave him time to transition.
Any roster, though, that would have picked him up at this point in his career would have gotten so much shit if they would have given him a 53-man roster spot.
Yeah. And that was the problem with everyone fighting was the fact that they thought... They're like, hey, listen, you're taking away from someone, which I get it, but it's also, at the end of the day, you want your best 53 man on that roster. You telling me Tim Tebow, and maybe the case was Tebow said he wasn't playing special teams. He could, in my opinion, he could have for sure made a special team somewhere. Whether that's kickoff return, kickoff.
Yeah, but if you're Tim Tebow at this point in your career, would you want to play special teams?
Do you want to play in the NFL?
I bet probably not as much as... All right, Tennessee Titans. I mean...
Big old Julio Jones.
Big old former number 11. That is this whole team's offense, him and Bud Dupree. They got one huge move on defense, one huge move on offense. Is this what finally gets them over the hump? Are they now a top 5 team as far as Super Bowl contention? I definitely think that...
Will Tannehill choke?
That's what I was about to say. Ryan Tannehill is a player I definitely think needs to, as far as the play. I mean, he's had a couple playoff wins since taking over with the Titans.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to see Ryan Tannehill do well.
I liked him back in Miami.
I did too.
I've always liked Tannehill.
I love the way he throws the ball. It might not be in the traditional sense. He does a lot of sidearm motion. Mm-hmm. They still have Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry's a stud.
He's still going to absolutely murder people.
He'll probably stiff arm him to the next stadium.
But the real question is Bud Dupree's one good season worth the money they gave him? Because they gave him 5 years, $85 million, $35 million guaranteed.
Jesus.
That's a huge contract for a player who could very well be
a one-and-done season.
He was just a contract year player. Something you see a lot in the NFL is a player
that they go out on their contract year and and then they get a big deal and they don't live up to the deal.
Because this man, just for that, has $35 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think, in my opinion, it's going to be hard to beat Tennessee in that division. I talked to Brown. He's a big Colts fan, and he doesn't think they'll have a shot.
Oh, at all. Like, he doesn't think that. Does he think they're at least?
He doesn't have high hopes for the season like he did last year.
Ah, gotcha.
And that's understandable. But
hey, what if Andrew Luck out here throwing the football lately? Or Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck. Listen, that's a dream that every NFL fan wishes they could see is Andrew Luck come back in. But from what I've seen, that's never going to happen.
He's definitely a Calvin Johnson. He's definitely enjoying his life outside of football. AFC West. Drew and Teddy. Laurel and Hardy. Yeah.
Hey, I'm kind of biased because I love Teddy Bridgewater, but I mean, like we talked about earlier,
yeah, he was definitely the pick.
At the end of the day, I think it came down to who's going to have the most turnovers. Oh, yeah.
I think the only other notable thing that you might want to talk about with the Broncos is they got a Chris Harris replacement and Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
Who, in his very first preseason game, had that pick. Looked great. I mean, was the pick great? No, it was definitely a pick that any corner could make, but it's definitely a confidence booster. You know, first preseason game, a pick. It's definitely something that's probably going to help him going forward. And then the big thing in the offseason was the fact that Justin Simmons had not resigned. You know, their all-pro safety. He did resign with a 4-year, $61 million, so I think that's going to be huge for that defense going forward. Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. I think this is a team that could make some noise. Maybe not a playoff team, but I definitely think they're a team that could play spoiler.
I mean, look at the division. They have Chargers and the Chiefs. They have the Raiders that put on all these moves on defense that you really don't know what the Raiders are going to be.
See, I think behind the Chiefs, this whole division's a question mark.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any right or wrong as far as who you might think would beat who. I definitely think the Raiders are a team that never consistently does well, but they are a team that surprises with wins.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert last year looked like he's the next great franchise quarterback.
And see, he was my favorite quarterback out of that draft. Out of his draft class. So, but you also got to look at the Broncos' offensive weapons. So they got
Gordon.
They have Melvin Gordon. They have
Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy.
They have Jerry Jeudy that could be really good. They have Sutton. Sutton was a beast. Hi, Wolf. But at the end of the day, the Broncos could come out and, like you said, do noise. Do I think they're going to have a huge run? No. But they're on the start of it.
Oh, and you can't forget about Noah Fant, tight end.
Yeah, Fant. Didn't he just get hurt?
I don't actually know. He might have got hurt.
Brown loved you bunches, honey bun, XOXO. I know he does.
First thing that popped up is Fant. Nope, expected to be available week 1.
Okay, so he was hurt. I guess he's good now.
Kansas City Chiefs, they got rid of Mike Schwartz. And they got rid of Yoff.
Breland.
They got Kyle Long, though, but he's always hurt. So, I mean, is that really going to matter? Joe Thuney's a pretty huge one, which is going to bolster their...
That doctor that worked through COVID, is he back with the Chiefs, or is he still working with COVID?
I don't know. I really don't. I was literally
because he was their best offensive weapon, or offensive lineman. But we'll talk a little about Mike Hughes, because gotta go BB Cakes. Jesus Christ. So, Mike Hughes was a guy...
Orlando Brown. They also got Orlando Brown.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Man that whined and complained because he was
I want to left tackle position.
I'm not a right tackle.
No, it was opposite. He was a right tackle and to be left.
I know. Like I'm saying, he's like, I'm not a right tackle, I'm a left tackle.
Yeah. So, Mike Hughes was a guy...
He is back, and he's second string.
What? That'll change.
He did take like a season and a half off football. If anything, maybe the dude needs to get reacclimated. Maybe he's out of shape. But for O-lineman,
I will say, Mike Hughes was a guy that, when he was on the field, he made plays.
I didn't know that Jerick McKinnon was their third stringer.
Yep. He was an awesome player we had. I miss him. The only problem with, and I've told you this in the past, the only problem is his injuries. If he can stay healthy, he'll do great for the Chiefs. But that's the huge question mark they have, because every season he was out. But getting rid of Breland is starting corner for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl win and in the Chiefs loss. And a lot of people said in the run he was one of the reasons why they made that Super Bowl. So that's kind of hard. But maybe they have faith in Mike Hughes.
Maybe.
Raiders?
Yep.
All right.
Big old Gruden, baby. Should that era end? John Gruden, after signing that 10-year deal, really has been a pretty middle of the road. The fact that they tried to retrade for Khalil Mack, I think, is a fucking joke.
They might, though.
Which is stupid.
There's reports that it might actually happen.
Well, I saw that the Bears laughed at him. They answered
at first, and now they're like, oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
I don't know. I think that is just stupid. Like, it proves that Gruden is he's a relic of the past.
He is.
You traded a player.
Your best player.
Yeah, the best player on your team only like 3 seasons later. Like, you know what? Maybe that was a stupid move. Maybe he'd be good for our roster. Yeah, Khalil Mack would probably be good for any roster, you dumbass. Then they also gutted their O-line. They lost 3 of their starting O-linemen. I mean, they got like their first round. I think it was their first round pick was Alex. I think Leatherwood out of Bama.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the point. This O-line was one of the strong points of this team the past couple years. So the fact that they just gutted their O-line just to sign a bunch of players that were probably either the same or if not worse doesn't really make sense. They also wasted, I shouldn't say wasted because I definitely think he's still a good signing, but they have Josh Jacobs and they spent 2 years, $11 million on Kenyon Drake. Why? Was there no other holes? They did get like Yannick Ngakoue. Like they loaded up on defense.
They did. They loaded up a lot on defense. Have you guys talked about the Colts? We did. We were even calling to you.
We were talking about Big Q, his injury. Can Carson Wentz put it together? Let me go back real quick, just so.
Oh, the Colts?
Yeah.
So we basically said that the Colts are it's a line that is drawn.
We're back week 2, which is good. So I think he's something.
I heard there's a chance he's coming back week 1. I guess I guess he's not. He's coming back week 2, which is great because.
Just rewind a little bit.
Yeah, just rewind. Later on, you can watch it. I think. Long story short, I think the Colts can be a great team. In my opinion, they just need to go to old school football, good defense, run the ball. We talked about Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, and then Nyheim Hines is a great running back, one of the best in the league, in my opinion, because you have a good third down back, scat back for pass. You have 2 guys that can literally just run it down your throat, and you have a defense that can carry you. So,
and again,
the question mark's going to be Wentz.
I hate to bring up this topic, but like we were talking about earlier, because Darius Leonard's definitely the unquestioned leader on that defense. Mm-hmm. Is his vaccination status going to affect this? Could it affect his availability?
I am sure he will miss some games. It'd be dumb not to, because with COVID nowadays and you're not vaccinated, basically NFL stance is if you're in contact and you're not vaccinated, you're out. So
yeah, this is the no fun league for sure.
Exactly.
Going back to the AFC West, Chargers. Justin Herbert.
Will Herbert bounce back from a crazy rookie season, or will he have a sophomore slump? That's literally what you just wrote.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really think that changing head coaches was a weird stance. Like Brandon Staley, I don't think is going to be a bad head coach necessarily. But when you have a team that just got that out of their rookie quarterback, why would you... Like, I understand that maybe they just thought that this was the move going forward. Maybe he seemed like the better candidate. I think it's a weird move. But, I don't know. I think the Chargers are definitely a team to watch this year for sure.
I think they'll give the Chiefs a run for their money. Just because you know how inter-division games go. They're usually really close and go either way. Hell, the Chargers... They almost beat the Chiefs last year. They were down like a couple points, 3 points, I think. And that was Herbert's first game. Didn't even know he was playing until the doctor decided to
stab Tyrod.
Put his rod through Tyrod's lung.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor.
Yep. Tyrod Taylor. Yeah.
NFC East, Dallas Cowboys.
NFC East is the fucking joke of the NFL.
I honestly think they're an interesting division as far as teams go. Like, will Dallas live up to their offensive hype? Their defense has always been an issue, but they got Mike Parsons. I think they're the team that got Keanu Neal. I might be wrong. But if Dak Prescott isn't healthy, this is a team that's definitely going to struggle.
Yeah. Who is their backup?
I have no idea. The Cowboys are the kind of team that I can't stand looking at.
Yeah, me either.
So as far as depth chart, I really don't know. It's Will Greer, starter out of West Virginia, I believe, a couple years ago.
Okay.
I mean, he was great in college. He's a little bit shorter of a guy, so maybe if Dak can't put it all together.
So my thing with that division is,
Are you giving Dak Prescott 4 years, $160 million? I'm not. I'm not under any circumstance. I'd sooner tank and draft somebody before I give Dak Prescott 4 years, $160 million.
is Dak a good quarterback? Yeah. Now, that was a horrible injury last year.
Yeah,
so
his injury was terrible, and Dak was on a pretty historic pace as far as yards goes, but I just don't think that I'm giving Dak Prescott that much money a year.
No.
And I've seen polls lately say that Dak Prescott's a top 5 quarterback in the league. I don't think that at all either. I saw that too, and I was like, that's stupid.
Fuck?
You're telling me Dak Prescott's better than Tom fucking Brady? Who won a Super Bowl? Wasn't Dak Prescott.
Hell, has Dak even won a playoff game?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
I don't think he has.
I don't think the Cow... I mean, I think he did. I think he won one... No. That guy... I'll take your word for it, Cody.
Hey, Cody,
I was going to say, I honestly don't know.
I don't think they... So, Cody also is a sports bettor, so we'll be getting onto that later if you're going to be with us still. But right now, we're just talking about off-season moves, and then we'll go into the preseason, who we think looked good and who didn't. But, so, the Cowboys, I want to put up a new poll on Twitter, and I want to get people's response. I want to know who the real America's team is right now. Because in my opinion, I think it might be the Chiefs. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I don't hate them. I respect them.
I mean, honestly, yeah, but as far as... I don't think you'll ever shake that stigma from the Dallas Cowboys.
They won't.
I think because of how Texas is with football, I think they'll always be America's team.
Yeah.
But I don't get it.
That's what I would like to know. Who is the real America's team right now?
Next team we're going to talk about is the New York Giants. Danny Dimes, I think definitely this might be his last year as a starter if he can't put some shit together. They got him a couple weapons. He's had a couple years in the...
I think they got Galladay, Kyle Rudolph.
John Ross, if he can ever put it together.
John Ross is just a good speedy receiver.
I mean, he's a speed receiver, but he lacks a lot in the skill department as far as route running goes. He did look insane for 2 games, I think. It was either last season or the season before. Well,
I will have to say he is a red zone target now, and Kyle Rudolph. I mean, every play he made with the Vikings was in the red zone. I mean, he's a great...
I think the Vikings are regretting not keeping Kyle Rudolph, because I bet they are.
I don't know, because we wouldn't have been able to afford all those defense moves.
What about Joe Judge as a head coach? Forcing 2 players into... I shouldn't say forcing, but 2 players pretty much went out there and said, you know what? I just signed this contract. This team is not for me. The whole run sprints thing. I lied. Dak has 1 playoff win. I was going to say, I thought he had the one when I think they went 13-3 that year. A couple seasons ago.
Okay, maybe. I don't remember it necessarily.
I saw something the other day that was every NFC team's highlight for the past 5 to 10 years. No, it was since 2 years.
Oh, who Minnesota's was?
Seahawks and lost to the Rams. Okay, it was the year the Rams probably went to Super Bowl then.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was highlights for the NFC teams. Minnesota's was Minnesota Miracle.
Yeah.
And then the Dallas Cowboys was literally just their 13-3 season. There was nothing else. There was nothing else they could brag on. It was that 1 year.
Oh yeah, well we're not doing sound alerts right now. It's a podcast, buddy. I'll refund you those points later.
Go back to the Giants. Yeah, Kenny Galladay, 4 years, $72 million, $40 million guaranteed.
Hey, watch the talk.
Hey, he's just happy he's getting refunded.
Oh, you're happy, yeah. But so my thing is with the Galladay is a great guy though. He's a great receiver.
I mean, he was an excellent receiver for
a bad Lions team, but he also had Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I was going to say Danny Dimes is definitely not Matthew Stafford as far as arm talent. I definitely think that... I think he has talent. I just think he's turnover prone. He has probably arguably the worst, fumble ability.
Yeah.
The man cannot hold a football when he is sacked. He is horrible at it.
I mean, didn't he have a huge fucking rush and then fumbled it? Or no,
yes.
He fell.
Yeah.
He fell.
He man had busted
a 90-yarder
sprint down the field and then just ate it.
Hey, the turf monster's real. I don't know. Everyone that played football, you've encountered the turf monster.
Philadelphia Eagles. Does Jalen Hurts come out here and actually play like a starter? Will Joe Cool play? Will Minshew Mania take over? Will the Jorts find their way to Philadelphia? I think so if Jalen Hurts plays like crap.
Or will they pull their starter just so another team doesn't get a playoff spot?
Yeah. I mean,
like, that was the dirtiest move in football history in my opinion.
Fucking hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious.
Hey, actually, we don't want to win this game. This podcast is a turd. Hey, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really appreciate it.
It's a shiny turd.
Yeah.
It's the one you would definitely want to shit.
I was going to say, we're definitely like a pigskin turd, you know?
Yeah.
Football shaped. Devonta Smith, third wide receiver drafted, Heisman winner. Will his slight frame hold up to the NFL?
Who?
Devonta Smith.
Devonta Smith. Or Devonta Smith, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure. Devonta Smith.
He's a good pick. He is small, but from what I've seen...
I mean, if Wes Welker's proved to me anything, a small wide receiver can succeed in the NFL if he's used correctly. But I think he's their number one though. I know Wes Welker was too, but I think he primarily played out of their slot.
Yeah, he was more of a slot guy, and Devonta Smith will be a slot guy once they get that number one, because he's not a possession. He's a
more of a rack.
Exactly. No, it looks like two dirty calipers crawled up on y'all's upper lip, kind of turd. Well, guess what, Nagger? At least we're not hunchback and wear glasses of Coke bottles.
I was going to say
yesterday.
I like my nice.
You're a slot guy.
All right, this is the real quarterback controversy at the NFL. Fitzmagic or playoff
Heineke.
Playoff Heineke.
Maybe. Fitzmagic does great during the regular season. Heineke does great in the playoffs. Maybe that is their goal. Maybe they're just going to rotate. Yeah, they're going to rotate. Or if they're... Hey, thanks, Brown. My duty taken care of. Appreciate you. So my thing with Heineke is the fact of he did it one game. Yes, we're high on it, but he looked great.
Yeah, but I can understand bringing in Fitzmagic. He might be one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the NFL.
But look at how many fourth quarter
games.
Look at how many fourth quarter from behind wins he had. If say they gave Heineke the role and he's not doing good, and the fourth quarter is down by 14. All right, Fitz.
Yeah, that game was against. Yeah, like he went out against a team that, like, look at the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Heineke played like
better than Pat, technically.
I mean, Pat made some fucking throws during that Super Bowl.
He did.
I was gonna say, if you look at the tape on that, some of his throws were insane, like absolutely insane. But Heineke went out there and played his absolute ass off for a guy that looked like this was his chance. Like he knew if he went out and balled out during this game, he had a chance to
go somewhere.
Yeah, be the next Washington football team quarterback. Did he get the start? No, Fitzmagic did, but I mean, I can't blame him. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Me too.
I definitely don't think...
It's hard not to like Fitzmagic.
Yeah, I definitely think...
By the way, on this show, he's called Fitzmagic.
All right.
I'm kidding.
And I definitely think that as far as like defense goes, I think Washington definitely puts him in a position to succeed. Like, that front seven is insane. Like, they are absolute monsters.
Yeah.
NFC North. I know a couple of Knicks fans. Chicago Bears, you know. Can't talk about the Bears without talking about Andy Dalton, who said this is his time. Do you believe it?
No.
It's the red rifle, baby.
Listen, the Bears sign Andy Dalton, promise him to be a starter. You know what I could see? Yeah, you'll be a starter for week 1 first half. If he fucking sucks.
No, I definitely think he starts all week 1.
You think so?
I think that throwing Fields out against Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey might not be the best play. So I think they're just going to let Andy Dalton go out there and just pretty much eat it.
Yeah. That
way they have no excuses on why not to throw Fields out.
Justin Fields, I'm telling you, he was going to be awesome. Andy Dalton is trash. That's what we're saying. By the way, Bowman, that was the saddest comeback, by the way. Yeah, I know.
He'll start for the first couple of games because their O-line is terrible. Their O-line is pretty ass. I mean, hey...
But then Andy Dalton's just going to get murdered and get hurt. Honestly, that's probably what's going to happen. is Andy Dalton's going to get hit too many times. Justin Fields at least has the scramble potential to get out.
On a more positive note, Allen Robinson, didn't he finally sign that long-term contract?
Only because Justin Fields, he said he will not sign because they don't have a quarterback, and then they drafted Justin Fields, and now he's happy. And Allen Robinson, kind of a douchebag from what I've seen, but he's a good player.
Oh, hell of a player.
Hell of a player.
I mean, I could definitely see Andy Dalton start the first couple of games.
Let's talk about the Bears' defense. The huge question mark. The Bears that had this great defense, now they only have fucking Khalil. And then what's their big Hicks? Is he still with the Bears? I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure Hicks got hurt.
Well, if he got hurt, that's gonna be hard for him. But they lost their. Who'd they get rid of? Oh, Kyle Fuller.
Yeah, they made one of the stupidest cuts of the offseason.
And then Trufant, obviously no one saw it coming, but his father passed away, so he missed all of training camp, and then they had to cut him. So it's like their defense just fucking took a huge left turn.
They also got Robert Quinn. I mean, he's not
the Robert Quinn from
of the St. Louis Rams, but he's still definitely like a rotational piece.
He's probably like an Everson Griffin. He's gonna be a situational player that.
Oh no, Akeem Hicks apparently was recently back as of Tuesday. So
okay, yeah, I was gonna say, and he's a force to be reckoned with.
I mean, they still got Roquan Smith, Eddie Goldman. They're definitely still a defense that has some pieces. It's not like they're.
It's their cornerback issue.
I mean, hey, if they can get to the quarterback, that.
Yeah, if they can get to the quarterback fast enough, they won't need corners. So. Lions.
Yeah.
We are going to eat, or we're going to bite off your kneecap as we're coming up, and you're going to hit us twice to knock us down. Then, when we get back up, we're going to take your another kneecap. Best conference for your head coach that's ever been made.
I definitely think Dan Campbell is probably more of a throwback head coach as far as mentality.
The fucking Lions love him, though. He's exactly what, in my opinion, the Lions need, because they
are a city that is a little rough, so they definitely needed a tough head coach.
They need a tough head coach. They need someone.
For sure. Yeah, Dan Campbell definitely probably has CTE from his time in the NFL.
Yeah. But when he has his morning coffee, though, he's jacked apparently.
And maybe that's what they need.
They need someone he's not going to sugarcoat it. He's gonna tell you when you suck.
He's a stooge.
He's a stooge. Hey, I don't want to rip off the Pat McAfee show too much, so I'm not going to say stooge.
Would you have given up 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick for Matt Stafford? I definitely think that the Lions definitely got. I mean, 2 first-round picks and a third for a quarterback who has had back injury history and in his 30s is definitely, I think, a steal. They also got a quarterback that might be able to bridge the gap till they, inevitably tank and they need a new quarterback.
So, in my opinion, this is what I think the Rams are looking at. They're looking at their contracts coming up. They know they're going to be on a rebuild soon. So
they went all in. They just said,
I think they went all in this season. And the fact is, 2 first rounds and a third. Think about how many first round busts you have. Think about the Rams never draft well. So why not take a veteran player instead of letting your front office fuck it up like they do every year?
I think the Lions definitely have some question marks as far as they'll have cap penalties next year. Yeah. I definitely think that they got a potential franchise piece in Pinay.
Mm-hmm.
Sewell, or however you pronounce his last name. I can never get it right. I definitely think that he has the potential to be a long-term starter for that team. The fact that they fell to him, I think, is amazing.
So who won the trade? The Lions or the Rams?
I personally think the Lions did.
Really?
They got 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick. They got a bridge quarterback for a player who, again, has an injury history recently, a back injury history.
Goff was hurt too.
But Goff's substantially younger, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, but I don't know, man. You take Matthew Stafford that throws 5,000 yards every year, basically, on a shit Lions team.
Well, no, Matthew Stafford has definitely carried this team.
If Rams win Super Bowl...
I really don't know that Jared Goff's ever getting that team to the playoffs, personally, but the cap is a myth. They'll figure it out.
I mean, yeah, look at the
you just make everything a bonus, and it just fucking...
Yeah.
It's like, we'll just push that off till down the road. Doesn't matter. We're here for now.
And now they have a new thing that they're using. They're doing I forget what it's called, but it's a We'll talk about it later. Voidable years, yes. They have voidable years now, so now technically they won't have a problem. I just don't see a lot of the Rams players coming back because think about how many big contracts people want. Like, look at Jalen Ramsey. They're going to have to pay him a fuck ton.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Donald's top 3 player in the NFL, arguably.
When's the last time the Rams had a 5,000-yard passer?
Fuck, I don't know.
Like, I can't remember. Jared Goff?
Norm Van Brocklin, maybe?
Yeah, so Jared Goff's Super Bowl year, I don't even think had that many yards. That's one. So at the end of the day, the way I look at it, Matthew Stafford is a much better player than Jared Goff.
They've never had a 5,000-yard passer. The closest was Kurt Warner. Yeah. And the next was Jared Goff at 4,600.
And think about that. That's 4,600 with those extra playoff games.
He actually had 4,600 in back-to-back years.
Really?
Yeah, but he also had, in one of those years, 22 touchdowns and 16 picks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was definitely throwing from behind. System quarterback.
Quarterback. Yeah. I'm telling you, I don't like Jared Goff.
And who knows? Sean McVay is pretty ahead of his time. I shouldn't say ahead of his time anymore. I think people are finally starting to catch on to him. But I think Sean McVay, maybe he can get a little more out of Matthew Stafford than
I think so too.
The carousel of coaches that the Lions have had for umpteen years, it feels like.
Listen, in my opinion, Matthew Stafford is going to come out, and maybe he'll be the comeback player of the year I was talking about earlier.
What, after that back injury last year?
Mm-hmm.
We can't not talk about Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers.
Fuck Green Bay.
Hall of Fame quarterback talent. I mean, yeah, if you really think about what Matthew Stafford has done on that Lions team over the course of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, he had Megatron in his early years, but as of late, you really think about his weapons, and he still played up to how he did with Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think he's.
Imagine if Calvin Johnson would have stayed in the league.
I mean, yeah.
How good that Matthew Stafford's numbers would be then too.
Oh, for sure. But Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. I definitely think that
this will be Aaron Rodgers' last year with Green Bay.
Sadly.
No, not sadly. It's good for us.
Well, yeah, it's good for it's probably good for the division, but I definitely think that as far as like the NFL goes, I think an NFL because I definitely think he'll retire. He was really.
I don't know.
He was a 50-50 toss up in the offseason.
If he gets the Jeopardy job full time, then yes, he'll retire. But I don't know.
If you still look at like their Twitter, the Last Dance picture that both Devontae Adams and him put up, so I think the writing's on the wall as far as Devontae Adams too.
Yep, he's basically came out and said if Aaron Rodgers isn't his quarterback, he's gone. So this is going to be the Packers last year. They're going to try to make a run. The only thing that's hard for the Packers is that defense is looking pretty bad right now.
I also think that the Randall Cobb signing, which I'm sure Aaron loved, doesn't really make that much sense because I don't think Randall Cobb's looked good in a number of years.
Now, but Randall Cobb and Aaron Rodgers even came out and said if he can stay healthy, is better than their third Van de Scalding. Yeah. I think I'd take Randall Cobb over him.
I mean, Alan Lazard's looked pretty good towards the end of last year,
He's probably number 2. So, the thing with the Green Bay is it'll probably be Rodgers and Adams last year. And that might be some for you Packers. That might be sad for you Packers fans, but
Aaron Jones, 4 years, $48 million, $13 million guaranteed. It's not a whole lot of guaranteed money, but he has a running back. It's a position that here lately has been devalued.
Yep.
You look at some of the bigger contracts in the NFL as far as running backs go, they don't look that good after 1 or 2 years. Like, I'm sure the Cowboys would love to rework Zeke's deal. You think about the big deal that Todd Gurley got from the Rams a couple years ago, which if you think
might have been one of the worst fucking deals in history.
I don't want to go that far, but
I mean, think about it though. Out of that huge deal, how much did he actually play?
No.
I mean, okay, hold on. The worst deal in history, we all know, probably Sam Bradford. But I love Sam Bradford.
The fact that Sam Bradford was at one time the highest earning quarterback of all time, I think is kind of a joke. I love Sam. I just don't think that he should. I don't know. Sam Bradford's definitely a controversial topic as far as quarterbacks go. If he didn't go to the Rams, maybe his career would have taken off. Worst deal is Albert Haynesworth. Yeah, 7 years, $100 million. That deal was trash. Albert Haynesworth was garbage with the Redskins. I think it was the Redskins. As far as Minnesota Vikings, I pretty much just said let Nick do his thing.
Okay, so
I just want to shit talk though. Irv Smith Jr. hurt. Fuck Nick.
So, we did take a blow. Irv Smith. Cody's also a Vikings fan, so Irv Smith got hurt. Is gonna be tough. Can Herndon come in there and do what he needs to do until Smith gets healthy? Which he probably won't be healthy until playoffs if we make playoffs. What I'm excited for is the defense. I'm a big defensive guy. It's Gronklin. Okay, let's get that right. But if he can stay healthy, yeah, for sure. Screw Herndon. Hey, Herndon's gonna be he's gonna be a good double tight guy for play action, in my opinion. They'll have Herndon, him, and then probably Adam Thielen, and then fullback, like a good I formation, basically. But my opinion, the defense is what I was really excited for this season, and the fact that we got Patrick Peterson. Everyone's gonna say he's washed up, which I get. He's old, but you gotta look at every great defense Mike Zimmer had. He had a veteran like that. Look at Terrence Newman.
Yeah, it was literally about to come out of my mouth, Terrence Newman.
Look how long he was with the Vikings, way after his prime, but he's helped those young corners so much. Hell, Xavier Rhodes might not be the way he is now if it wasn't for Newman. So it'd be a great learning opportunity for Dantzler. We signed Xavier Woods as a safety. He signed there literally to play with Patrick Peterson and Harrison Smith. Do those two run the best safety duo in the league? Possibly. Harrison Smith and Xavier Woods. We don't know what Xavier Woods we're getting.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely think Harry the Hitman makes up for a lot. But
he does.
I was going to say, Xavier Woods, I think, is still more of a question mark as far as if you're going to argue best safety duo in the league yet.
So, then you got to look at the line. The D-line. So, we gave up the most rushing yards in the NFL last year, I'm pretty sure. Or we were, like, bottom 5. Michael Pierce opted out due to COVID. He's back. We signed Dalvin Tomlinson, that's a complete stud from the Giants. Literally, just our two D tackles is like 700 pounds in those two spots.
Like, sucks.
Yeah, you'll see, bud.
You're right, you will see when it sucks. Don't you
We
worry.
got Breland from the Chiefs. Breland, hey, he has a Super Bowl experience. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, won. He comes in. You want to be bald again? Hey, I already offered the bet and you said no, so. But you got to look at that D-line. So, and then Danielle Hunter's back. And Danielle Hunter is, when he's healthy, one of the best DNs in the league. Can he stay healthy this season? From what I've heard, is his neck's fine now?
Yeah, that's the really question mark here.
Yeah. So you take all those defense, and in my opinion, defense wins championships. Look at the Bucks. They held Patrick Mahomes to what? Like, I don't know the exact numbers, but they did not make the Chiefs look like the Chiefs team. And especially this day and age, it's a passing league. You have to have a good defense, or you're just gonna get torched. We got Eric Kendricks. We got Anthony Barr. Anthony Barr has been hurt. No one knows what kind of injury it is, which is kind of weird. Definitely won't suck like last year. 30th in scoring defense, I think. They will probably be in the middle of the pack if I had to guess. I'm going to be honest. I think they can be a top 10. I think, especially with Everson Griffin, I think we can get up to the 2017 defense.
Now, come on. You're giving them too much credit at that point, Brown. If we learned anything...
You are biased. Yeah, I know.
We learned at community college actually isn't that bad with Bishop Sycamore. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Bishop Sycamore. You need a reality check. Hey, I'm telling you, I am overreacting right now. So at the end of the season, we can do one of our last podcasts for the year and for NFL, and I should be like, by the way, told you so. This is going to be the 2017 defense when we were top 5 in the league. We won't be top 5, but I think we'll crack top 10. Now we'll go to offense. We got Irv Smith hurt. Conklin was always good, but he was always kind of hurt every once in a while. He would play like 3 games, out 1, play forward, blah, blah, blah.
This first podcast is going to age horribly. Watch the Vikings. They're going to come out here and lay a fucking donut.
Maybe. That's probably that's the Vikings for us. But, hey, statistically, it's numbers. I watched this video that they were breaking down on the NFL Network. The Vikings, if you look, literally, you can Google it right now, of all their seasons, they'll have a bad season. They'll go 7 or 8 wins. Then the next season, they make a playoff run. and it's literally every other season. Last year we won 7 games. It's just, hey,
this year
history
they
repeats
won 4.
itself. No,
I'm just kidding.
I think we'll be good. So then we'll talk about, Dalvin Cook. Can he pass what he did last year? Very possible. We got Jefferson. Will he have a sophomore slump? I fucking hope not, but you never know. Adam Thielen really wasn't that involved last year. He didn't crack 1,000. I think it's his first season in a while he didn't crack 1,000. So we'll have to see how he does there. Offense will do terrible if Cook gets hurt. Yeah, you're not wrong. I've always had faith in Alexander Madison, but every game he started when Cook's been hurt has not went well for us. And it's probably Thielen's no longer the number 1 option. I know, dude. It's sad, but he can come out. He's a good possession guy. It's going to be tough without Kyle Rudolph. Now, Chris Darrisaw, our first-round lineman, been hurt. Finally was in practice today, or tomorrow, Wednesday, is going to be his first practice back. He won't be in week 1. I doubt he'll be in week 1 or 2. So look to see him coming into week 3.
Who's your third-string wide receiver?
D.D. Westbrook.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
We got D.D. Westbrook. Apparently he's looking really good.
If he can stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy.
So different than the Packers. I thought Devin Funchess was going to be a hell of a pick for them. And then Devin Funchess, for the umpteenth season in a row, is now hurt. So, I mean...
The way I look at it, you have Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, D.D. Westbrook on the field. Kirk Cousins just better not play like the Falcons game last year. We're putting that behind us, all right?
Yeah, very much so. That's what I'm saying about D.D. Westbrook. I'm pretty sure his time in Jacksonville was almost ruined by injuries. Does play aside.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, Cody, get him. But, so, that's all I'm going to really talk about the Vikings. I think we'll have... my personal opinion...
Yeah, see, that's proving my point more. I mean, honestly, I always thought he had the talent in Jacksonville. Like, he was going to be their number 1 for a consistent amount, or a substantial amount of time. And then it just always seemed like whenever he was getting ready to make that step, injury.
Yeah. And we'll see. It's a big question mark, but I think we'll finish top 2 in the division. We have a chance of beating the Packers just due to their poor defense. When we play the Packers, it's probably going to be another high-scoring game. Hell, it might be another fucking Devontae Adams 3 touchdowns, Dalvin Cook 4 touchdowns. That's literally how it played out last year. So you really never know at this point. I have high hopes. I think Pat P's going to come and fucking wreck shop. So we'll see. But we'll move on to
NFC South. Atlanta Falcons. They lose Julio, which is a pretty big deal. Can Calvin Ridley be that number 1? I think so. I think Calvin Ridley has the talent. Healthy. Yeah, I was going to say.
Calvin Ridley's a hell of a fucking player.
I mean, Matt Ryan is still a capable quarterback. He's maybe not MVP Matt Ryan, but I definitely think he's still a quarterback. I think the job done if they're just trying to win games, trying to go out there and improve. Maybe they're not in the middle of a horrible rebuild. They just are in the middle of like a retool. I honestly think that it probably would have benefited them to maybe take a quarterback instead of Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts has a chance to be a, all-pro talent later down the road, but I think that their more pressing need probably would have been quarterback.
But if you look just on ability standpoint, Kyle Pitts technically was the best player out of the draft. From numerous people saying that.
I mean, so from like a physical standpoint, the man's an athletic freak.
It's really hard to pass him up.
But his size is an issue. Like, he's not a big dude.
But see, you also got to think.
At this point, you might as well just move him to fucking wide receiver.
Yeah. And I guarantee you he's going to be on as receiver a lot. My thing with Kyle Pitts, so from the transition from high school to college, they'll beef you up. They have every tool you can do. Then when you move to college to football or NFL, then they can beef you up even more. So the size I'm not worried about because I guarantee you he'll get bigger. Now, this season maybe not, which he's already bigger than last season. So, I mean, he's already making that jump. So, but if he just runs faster than anybody, and no one will touch him. So,
the other thing I want to talk about is Mike Davis.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if he's the answer at running back. He did average a first down per carry.
Is he the starter for the Falcons?
Yeah, he's the starter. He filled in for an injured Christian McCaffrey last year.
Did decent. He didn't do bad.
No, he wasn't horrible.
But I want to say he also had an injury problem a couple years ago.
Mike Davis?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hold on.
I want to say he got hurt.
Yeah, he's been in the league for a minute. He had a good amount of. We just talked about this. Yeah, sound alerts are off.
I will refund you later.
He had 60 receptions for only 373 yards. He had 8 total touchdowns. He had 642 rushing yards. I don't know. He said, "Nah, do refund."
I just said I'll refund you later. Wait, you're a mod. You can fucking do it. Give Nagger his 600 back and give you 100 back. Oh, no, don't refund me. Oh, okay. Yeah, you probably have a fucking shit ton. He leaves the stream up while he's working or whatever.
Gotcha. Speaking of the Panthers, same division, Christian McCaffrey, is he going to bounce back? I mean, he has a talent for sure, but is his injury going to be a problem going forward? Because if you think about the amount of touches he had 2 years ago for a running back, it's insane. It's the kind of thing that definitely, I think, shortens your career if you're being that relied on at a position that has a short shelf life in general. Look at fucking
Cowboys running back.
Zeke?
No, before him. DeMarco Murray.
Oh, yeah, his one insane season.
He was a number one receiver, but he had the most touches in Cowboy history, I think. Or
number one receiver, mean running back?
No, just touches.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they gave him the ball too much and just killed him. And
yeah, went to the Eagles and did absolutely nothing. Yep. Literally nothing. It was pretty much useless on that team.
So they just need to use. But see, now they have Christian McCaffrey, but they also have Robbie Anderson. So they don't technically have to rely on every single.
And
round.
Sam Darnold has a history with Robbie Anderson. So maybe
that's why they signed him, just because him and Robbie Anderson were together.
I mean, he was Darnold's best target.
Sam Darnold. I don't like Sam Darnold.
Listen, man. Who knows? Maybe he'll give the whole team mono. I definitely think that Sam Darnold probably deserved at least one more shot in the NFL.
This probably will be his last one, or he's going to be a fucking backup.
Yeah, as long as he's not out there seeing ghost again, maybe he has a shot.
You know what's crazy is apparently that's like a common thing in the NFL. Like, that's a common saying is, "Oh, I'm seeing ghosts." It means you're not seeing anyone open. But everyone just took it way.
We froze up.
We froze up.
Just like Sam Darnold, we're cold. There we go.
Darnold will have a better season, but not much better. I'm sure he will. I mean, he's not with the...
I literally think it's Darnold's decision-making. If he can ever figure it out as far as, less turnovers, I think he has a chance to be maybe an okay quarterback. Someone that could probably go out there and win some games. Honestly, I think as far as turnovers go, I think it's every quarterback's number one concern is you don't want to turn the ball over. It's how you lose games.
Yeah.
But Sam Darnold is really bad about turning the ball over.
That's going to be my first t-shirt for this podcast. It's going to have a picture of a guy with some Ghostbuster glasses and it's just going to say, "I'm seeing ghosts." With his number. That'd be fucking funny.
Saints. Jameis Winston. This will be his first year as a starter since he got LASIK. Will that be maybe the difference maker to where he doesn't throw another 30 picks?
I think it's an excuse.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So...
I mean, I personally know someone that's had LASIK, and it is a huge...
It is. And I totally understand if he does have an eye problem. But then...
I bet you half of them picks, because a lot of times he threw picks on jump balls.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he goes back to throwing the ball to the other team. I mean,
I think so too.
I think
he's playing this LASIK as I would use it as an excuse. Oh man, it's my eyes. It's not me. It's my eyes. I want to be starter. I'll show you. And then he's gonna go out and he might have a shit ton of yards, but he's probably gonna.
But would you rather start Taysom Hill? I know he might have had some wins last year, but just bad decision. It is bad decision making, and it goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. I think a quarterback cannot be a franchise quarterback if they cannot turn the ball over. You have to not have turnovers. Danny Dimes, he can't not fumble the damn ball when he's sacked. If a lot of quarterbacks, as far as ones that throw a lot of picks, which would be your Darnolds, James Winstons, I think if they can ever figure that out, they definitely have a chance to be okay quarterbacks in the NFL. And I'm really hoping that maybe Jameis Winston can turn it around. He was someone I actually liked watching in college. He was kind of an exciting player in Tampa Bay. He has some off-the-field antics I don't really support. I think the Sage should trade for Watson. But see,
I don't think Watson's playing. He might play a couple games and then he's going to go to jail.
I was going to say, I definitely think that... Well, I saw something that the Texans don't want to do something to where, like, let's say I trade 3 first-rounders for Watson and a franchise player. A lot of these teams are like, well, I want my picks and shit back if he goes to jail. And the Texans are like, if you trade for him, you are giving me your picks and you are not getting them back. And I think that's where a lot of teams are being held up on it. They don't want to give everything up just for this man to end up in jail.
So, Brown, since you're in the podcast right now, so we talked about this a little earlier. What are your thoughts on the Dolphins owner basically saying that they want Watson and they don't want Tua? We said earlier we think it's a mistake on their part because it's just dumb. Why would you say that? Because then that's going to have lack of trust. But it's just... Why would you want someone that is going through all that? Because it's just going to be a headache. Because even if he is innocent, which I'm not saying he isn't, but even if he was innocent, it is still going to have so much controversy with if any team that signs him.
I was initially going to talk. I think Watson might get cleared. The FBI is looking at another lawyer and his clients for extortion.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely something that could.
And
be a
if he is
possibility.
innocent, I really hope he is because I know how people can be nowadays. But as of August 18th, got it. So, but the problem is, like I said, it's still going to be a headache as soon as he signs to a team. Now you go to bed if you're fucking sleepy.
I was going to talk about the logjam at running back, but it seems the Saints have cleared it up on their own. They cut Latavius Murray because he didn't want to take a pay cut. Devonta Freeman pretty much got cut because he just didn't make the roster. So it's pretty much just Alvin Kamara at this point as far as that logjam. Kind of cleared up on its own. I definitely think cutting Latavius Murray was dumb. He's definitely a good backup. I understand that maybe...
And if Alvin Kamara gets hurt.
Yeah, and he might have been making too much money, which I get, but Latavius Murray knew his position on the team. He knew that he was necessary because he was their backup running back.
So why would you say he's making too much money?
Well,
he's played more than... No, I know. But I'm just arguing, being devil's advocate. People say he made too much money. He wants to take a pay cut. I mean, if I was him, he's played more games than Kamara the past 2 years, probably. Because he's been hurt in 2 seasons in a row. Not all season that year before. But, I mean, he's a big...
Or, something else I want to talk about is Mike Thomas. He kind of seems like he turned into a pretty severe prima donna here lately.
Mm-hmm.
I admire the fact that last year I think he played hurt through a couple games just because he wanted to play with Drew for the last couple. Kudos to him. But here lately it seems like he's kind of turning into maybe like a New York Giants Odell-esque player. You know, someone that is consistently just...
I mean, that's the...
Complaining to complain almost.
That's the stereotypical receiver, though.
Yeah, prima donna. Look at, classic Terrell Owens.
Mm-hmm.
I love Terrell Owens, but my God, did that man like to complain.
Yeah.
All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed all the starters back. Do they run it back? I was going to say, I definitely think no matter what, they are a playoff team that is going to go far. The NFL is a pretty tricky business, so there's definitely a chance that maybe they lose in the playoffs to get some couple key injuries. But I definitely think Tampa is the team that...
I think if Brady got hurt, it's going to cut all the life out of that team.
We talking about Blaine Gabbert, baby. He's about to come up there and slice and dice.
No, I get it, but think about how well they play with Tom Brady. And if you lose someone like that, that's just going to be a huge...
And I also think that Antonio Brown, like I was talking to Nick earlier about, is probably going to have maybe a bounce back year. It'll be his first full year, like full offseason in the system. Maybe him and Tom, who's notorious for being good with timing routes.
Hell, look at the short time he had with the Patriots, and he had 3 touchdowns that one game against Miami?
The Bucs are not going to make it past the wall. Ooh, that's pretty controversial.
What? Okay, let's talk about that. So,
you think that they're going to be a wild card team?
You think they're going to be a wild card team. So, who in their division is going to beat them? Because for you to be a wild card, you're going to have to lose your division.
No, not after they added that extra.
Oh, true.
Yeah, you have to finish top 2 in your conference. I mean, there's definitely a chance. Who else in the NFC would take it though? Who's your picks for the NFC top 2 seeds then, Brown?
I could see Arizona being up there. you are all on crack. You don't think the Bucs can run it back? The Packers and the Rams, the Packers that got blown out by a team, and now they have even less amount of people.
I definitely think the Packers could do it. I definitely think the Rams have a shot. But every time I have ever doubted Tom Brady, he has proved me fucking wrong.
So, Jabba Butterfinger said that the Bucs they're gonna lose in the wild card.
Yeah,
So I said, okay, let's talk about that. Why would you think that they would even make a wild card? Come on now.
Like,
being realistic, it's Tom Brady. The Bucs are the first team in history to sign everyone on the Super Bowl roster. Who's your dealer? I want some. You gotta think they signed everyone on the Super Bowl roster, and then they got fucking Bernard. So they got Fournette, they got Ronald Jones, and they got fucking
Gio
Bernard. So it's like, it's just crazy to me to think that they would even go.
I definitely could see the Packers being a number 1, number 2 seed. I could probably see the Bucs, the Rams.
So how could the Packers do it? Because in my mind, they were a great team last year, great offense. Their defense struggled last year. This year, they've lost even more people of that defense and didn't sign anybody. Compared to the Bucs that signed literally everybody.
Tom Brady, he's the GOAT. See, in my opinion, Bills, Packers, Super Bowl.
Oh, man.
Tell you what, it'd be 2 teams that used to playing in the cold.
I just don't
Where is the next Super Bowl played at, do you know?
Miami? Jackson? I don't know. Yeah, look that up. I'm going to be honest. Oh, my gosh. Packers. I don't see them. I just don't see it.
SoFi Stadium. It makes sense. All right, NFC West. Yep. Because the Bucs are a pretty controversial topic apparently in this little chat.
Yeah.
Cards. AJ Green. Will he actually have a bounce back year with, a better quarterback? Joe Burrow is
a better quarterback. He's not the number one.
Well, I was gonna say Joe Burrow is definitely a good quarterback, but I think Kyler, as far as development in comparison from last year to Joe Burrow last year, was probably a better quarterback. I definitely think having other. One thing is he had Tyler Boyd and all. Like I don't know. I think AJ Green's in a weird position because he definitely I think could have played better last year.
Yeah.
But maybe being around all these vets, maybe he was just pissed off with the circumstances he was in. Maybe he comes back and actually looks like a quality number 2 receiver next to Nook. Or maybe a number 3. Because you got Andy Isabel, you got fucking Christian Kirk. And yeah, that team has weapons. I definitely think that James Conner is maybe a bit of a downgrade.
Yeah.
Over Kenyon Drake, because James Conner is another one that's consistently hurt.
But if he can stay healthy, the Cardinals are gonna actually have someone that can run in between tackles instead of Kenyon Drake. That was more of just a dump it off kind of guy.
James Conner's also a damn good receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah, he is.
I think it's something that's gonna.
He's good on both worlds. You know what I mean?
Which will probably definitely help that air raid system. J.J. Watt's another huge move. It'll probably help Chandler Jones maybe get to that quarterback a little bit more, which is a scary thought. I definitely think this is a defense. They also had drafted another first-round player who's kind of a hybrid player. His name eludes me for some reason, though. Because I know they had Isaiah Simmons last year. But either way, they have 2 players that are capable of flying around the field at the linebacker positions.
Yeah.
Something I personally want to talk about is where does Fitz rank all time if he decides, because it's already looking like he's not coming back. Because right now he said he has no interest in playing football. Where does he rank all time in your eyes as a wide receiver?
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
No, that's not what I mean. Like, would you put him like top 15, top 10?
All time?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Even though he's one of the most consistent receivers
he is
over there.
Most consistent, but it's like when you're bringing it down to top receivers, it's going to be receivers that carried you to a Super Bowl. And Fitz never had that.
I mean, but also think about his quarterbacks over the years.
I mean, yeah.
Carson Palmer was all right for when he was healthy. He played amazing with Kurt Warner. by the time Kyler showed up, he was pretty old. And then you think about everyone in between. This man really didn't have that elite weapon his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he stayed there is, I think, a testament to himself.
Yeah. He's a great guy, great athlete. I don't know if you can rate him top 15 of all time.
You're not even. He's like number like 5. Like, he's top 5 in like every major category.
I mean, yeah, because he's played.
You really wouldn't say he's in your top 5?
I mean, I could see it.
Like, he's got 17,000 yards. I'm pretty sure that puts him at number 2. He's got 121 touchdowns. I know he's in the top 10. Receptions, I think he's in the top 4. I definitely think no matter what, he's top 10. You could probably argue he's top 5.
Yeah.
I understand he's played a long time.
That, then yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there might be players that were more explosive for a short amount of years. A good example is the other Sharp brother that played for like the Packers. Everyone always says that guy, if he would have had a career, would be an all-time great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's not It is Sterling. It's Sterling Sharp. Yeah. Like Fitz might not be
or
like.
Is it Shannon Sharp?
Shannon's the tight end that played for.
That's right.
I don't know. I think Fitz is definitely, no matter what, a top 10, and I think you could argue top 5.
I was just hoping he was going back to Minnesota because that's where he's from, but it's not happening. Unfortunately.
I don't think.
Patrick Peterson came out and said he's like, as much as I'd love it, it won't happen.
No, he retires a Cardinal. I don't think he goes.
Why isn't he retired yet though?
Because he said he wants to come back, but at the same time, right now, just football is like he's still keeping in shape to make a comeback if. I bet honestly,
someone gets hurt.
I bet he's waiting to see if the Cardinals put it together. I bet he only comes back if this team needs, like, that veteran locker room presence down the stretch.
Yeah.
Like maybe Andy Isabel gets hurt, Christian Kirk gets hurt, AJ Green, Nook, someone.
Well, fuck, even if D-Hop gets hurt, that's going to be huge to that offense.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a nail in the coffin, honestly.
Yep.
St. Louis Rams, honestly, they're a team we've talked about a lot since the start. That's what I meant. They're still St. Louis in my heart.
Yeah. Fuck you, Stan Kroenke.
I honestly think we've pretty much covered this team at this point.
Yeah. I think they have a good shot at winning it. I think it's going to come down to them or the Cards. 49ers, let's go. Trey Lance, starter over Garoppolo, week 3. Shave the stash, it's ugly. Which one?
Yeah, I was like, which one?
Do I need to break out my Fearless Stash shirt? But, in my opinion, Trey Lance is going to give you more options. He's the kind.
Well, from what I see, they might actually use a quarterback rotation.
Really?
Jimmy might be your go-to when it comes to passing, and if you need someone like to just go out there and make a play, might be Trey Lance. He's definitely the more athletic of the two. He probably has the ability to. I mean,
Trey Lance has
Shanahan's a hell of an offensive
guru.
Is.
Yeah.
So I think Trey Lance would definitely open up his offense a lot more because Garoppolo is more of your standard. I'm gonna stand in the pocket, throw it. Where Trey Lance is more of an improvising kind of quarterback.
So you also got to look at the fact of Garoppolo is in the league. He's not going to throw many picks, but he's not going to make plays downfield. Trey Lance has something to prove. He wants to be a starter. He's going to make plays, and it might bite him in the ass, but he's going to make those plays. So I just, from the preseason, I really liked what I saw from Trey Lance. I hope he starts. I was pretty high on him on the draft, so...
Do you think that they bring back Richard Sherman?
No.
Every free agent report I've seen linked has him just coming back.
Even after what happened?
Yeah, even after what happened. If he signs with the team after what happened, because he is in the back nine of his career. I definitely think that if the Niners for some reason come out here and start balling out, I definitely think he's a player they should pick up as maybe just depth. He's still Richard Sherman. He's still one of the smartest football players out there.
Yeah.
And the last team in the NFL we have to talk about is Seattle. They had a lot of off-season drama with Russell as far as trading goes. The Bears almost got him.
I'm calling it first play of the game, first drop back. They're just going to let the D-line through. I'm kidding. That'd be fucking hilarious, though. Like,
yeah, after he shit-talked off the O-line.
Remember shit-talking me earlier in the season? Yeah, this one's for you, bud. Just letting fucking J.J. Watt or someone just have a clear shot at him.
I mean, I don't know. I think even Russell said a lot of this drama was blown out of proportion. It was someone that took a comment and they ran with it, and it kind of started to get bigger from there.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's the NFL.
yeah.
I mean, if you say anything to someone, you got to understand that it's getting out.
Yeah, it's going to blow up probably bigger than you intended. Something I want to talk about is where do you think Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf like fall as far as like wide receiver duos in the league?
I think one of the best.
Top 5?
Yep. Because my thing is the fact of Tyler Lockett. If you DK, yeah, he had numbers last year, but if you look at all of Tyler Lockett's career, pull it up real quick. I just want to go over it real quick because he is very consistent on just being kind of like a threat that people forget about.
He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard years. He's had 28 touchdowns in the past 3 seasons. He's averaged, well, over the past 3 years, his average per catch has gone significantly down. But maybe it's just because he's getting more targets. Because he has...
Shorter range.
Yeah, last year was his first 100-yard or 100 reception season. He's had increased receptions over his past 5 years. I definitely think they are a top 5 duo for sure because they're both so athletic. They stretch the field vertically in a way that I don't think a lot of other wide receiver duos do.
And not only that, you got to look at the fact of they're 2 completely different receivers. You got one that can basically just catch it on anybody because he's so big, and you have another guy that's speed, and he can get around everybody. And DK is also speed, but you know what I mean? It's a great threat to have because you got a guy that can go short yardage and break one for both of them. But then you have someone that you can throw over the top of someone. Want to become famous?
I do. Do I need to do a hot tub stream?
Yeah, next podcast will be in a hot tub.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think next is
preseason. Or no, next is my stuff.
Yeah.
So, we're going to go over each division. We're going to give you the odds, who's going to win that division. It might be a little off now, but it's about a week and a half old. But we'll start with NFC North. We got Vikings at plus 250. We got Packs at minus 145. Lions at plus 1900. And Bears plus 500.
I definitely think if you put money on the Lions or Bears to win their division, you're losing some money.
Mm-hmm. I think the Vikings, and this is not being biased.
Packers are going to win the division.
I think Packers will win, but Vikings plus 250 is not bad odds.
No.
And that I wouldn't put a lot of money on it, but it could be something you just be like, you know what?
Slap $20 on.
Yeah, you slap $20 on, you'll probably win about 50. We got AFC North. AFC North, we got Ravens. This is the you're winning money no matter what. So you got Ravens at plus 115. You got Bengals at plus 1600. You got Browns
Don't
at
waste your money on the Bengals.
Plus 155, and you got Steelers at plus 440. I think it's going to come down to the Browns and Ravens, but I have the Ravens at plus 115.
As a Ravens fan, I definitely think that I would put money on them. But I'm going to be honest, with a lot of our injuries and the fact that our pass rush and our O-line right now is a pretty big question mark, your bet, in my personal opinion, might be the Cleveland Browns. We have a lot of question marks as where Cleveland's kind of running it back with a roster that last year performed pretty well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, the additions of Jadeveon Clowney, Josh Johnson, getting Odell back. They still have that 1-2 punch in the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even talk about that. Fucking
Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is a between the tackle runner through and through. We all know Kareem Hunt's
Chubb's
about.
One of the top 3 fucking running backs in the league right now. Well, now Christian's back, maybe top 4.
Yeah, I could argue. Yeah.
All right, we got NFC East. We got Cowboys plus 130, Giants at plus 390.
You want to talk about the fucking toss-up?
Eagles at plus 470 and Washington at plus 260.
I personally like Washington to win this division. If Dak Prescott comes out here and actually can play, the Cowboys are probably to pick to win the division. The Giants, our team, I personally really like. If Danny Dimes can put it together, I definitely think.
I like the offseason moves the Giants done. I had the Giants at winning at plus 390. I'm kind of going back on it. See, this is a division. It's you don't know. You don't know. So the Giants, I like they're basically saying, all right, Jones, we're giving you the weapons. If you can't get it together, it's probably time to move on. So this might be the run that the Giants need. Washington, that defense, it's going to be really fucking hard. And Cowboys.
I really do. As far as odds
know.
go, I really like plus 390 on the Giants.
Yeah, it's great odds. We got AFC East. We got Bills at minus 150. We got Dolphins at plus 330. Pats at plus 360. And Jets at plus 1600. I went with the Jets at plus. No, I'm kidding. Obviously the Bills.
I mean, actually, do you know what the odds are since Mac took over?
I don't. Oh yeah, this was before Mac.
Let's look this up. What's?
I mean, I have FanDuel pulled up.
New England is plus 350.
So they haven't changed much.
Oh yeah, they've actually gotten a better shot of winning it without Cam. All right, the Jets are actually plus 2,000 now. Yeah, it hasn't really changed a whole lot.
So honestly, it's gonna be hard to bet against the Bills.
I'm gonna be honest. If I was just gonna throw a little bit of money somewhere, I like the Patriots.
Really?
I don't think they're a team that might
over the Bills.
No, I'm not saying over the Bills.
So it has to be to win the division.
No, I get that, but I'm saying if I had to pick a team in the league that I was just like, you know what, I'm just going for the pure upset.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might run with the Patriots.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if there was a division that I think a team might have a long shot at winning, I think maybe Bill Belichick and co. puts it together.
So I'll give you one. I'll give you a division that has the best odds. NFC West, Cards at plus 600. You got Rams at plus 200. You got 49ers at plus 190 and Seahawks at plus 280.
I definitely think that if Murray comes out here and balls out this season and all of them moves pan out, this is a team to watch.
Yeah. So plus 600, you throw $10 on it, you win 70. Like that's pretty
Go
pretty
big,
fucking
go home. Go 100.
Go 100. You got AFC West. We got so who do you have out of the division? NFC West.
Yeah, I'm probably going with the Cards. I can't believe the Niners have that good odds, personally.
Yeah, I thought they would have been minus, but
that's wild to me.
Mm-hmm. Make sure that's accurate. But
yeah, I was gonna say, you think that's changed any? What division is that? NFC West.
Yep. So we'll move on. We got AFC West. We got Broncos at plus 700. We got Chiefs at minus 270. Raiders at plus 1,300. And then Chargers at plus 490. Obviously, I went with the Chiefs. It'd be cool to see the Chargers win that division, but do I see it happening? Probably not.
Yeah, they're plus 6. The Cards are really the wild.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right.
So moving. Who do you got at AFC West? Chiefs. Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't really think there's a team that you can bet against in that division.
If there's a team that could somehow pull it off, it'd be the Chargers. But I think we're a couple seasons out.
First-year head coach,
yeah,
second-year quarterback, new system.
We're a couple seasons out on that. We got NFC South. We got plus 700 Falcons, plus 950 Panthers, plus 330 Saints, and then minus 185 for the Bucks.
Another division I don't really think you can put any money on anyone else and plausibly think to win.
And Bucks.
Yeah.
AFC South, we got Texans plus 2,300. We got Colts
Go
at
for the long
plus
shot.
140. We got Jags at plus 600. We got Titans at minus 110. And I went with the Titans on this one. I don't think there's a team in that division to run like the Titans. Colts does have a great defense, but with all that, you have a great passing with AJ. Is it AJ Brown? Is that his name? And Julio?
Yeah, it's AJ Brown, yeah.
AJ Brown, Julio, and then fucking Derrick Henry. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, honestly, I don't know, though. Maybe the Colts.
if Carson Wentz has that MVP season again,
Yeah. I was going to say maybe.
and if T.Y. Hilton gets healthy,
Or if. No, there's too many question marks here.
Yeah.
The more I talk about it, the more I'm thinking that this is a no-go.
Yep. So now I got MVP early predictions, and if you guys want to type in chat, you guys, it's the bets. But I picked 4. I gave the odds. It's Rodgers at plus 1,000.
I actually pulled this up because I think they've changed a little bit.
Okay.
You got Pat Mahomes with plus 600. You got Aaron Rodgers with plus 1,100. You got Josh Allen plus 14, and you got Tom plus 14.
Oh, what's Russell Wilson?
Plus 2,000.
So it only changed up by like 100. But in my opinion, I think this is Allen's year. This is a good Bills team. We got Stephon Diggs coming off a great year. Hate to see it.
Can we talk about something real quick?
What's up?
Dak Prescott has the 5th best odds to win MVP. He's coming off a pretty bad ankle injury.
I'm telling you, it's these fucking Cowboys fans putting all their money on this.
It is baffling to me.
God,
I mean, like last year he was on a historic pace as far as yards go, but after an injury like that, he's still not 100% healthy. This is some people that are being optimistic. It almost makes me think of when Mitch Trubisky a couple of seasons ago was an MVP frontrunner.
Yeah.
And then look at that season. I mean, way different circumstances, I understand that. But at the same time, it's something I see and I'm like, would you really want to waste your money like that?
So, if I were to pick an MVP early prediction that has good odds, I'd go with Allen, plus 1,400. So that's going to be it for that. We're going to move on to schedule of week 1 and who we think. We're going to write it down. We're going to try to hammer some teams. We're not going to do hammer dime because we don't want to rip people off. But we'll do our locks for the week. So we'll start with, we got Cleveland Browns at Kansas City. What just happened?
Yeah, Nick and I will have a little bit of competition throughout the year.
And I'll need your pen after that.
All right, we'll go first game of the season, Cowboys-Bucks.
So Cowboys-Bucks. Cowboys are at plus 8. Tampa Bay's at minus 8. So basically, if you're new to betting, that's basically meaning at the start of the game, Cowboys get 8 points right off the bat. That means you're projected to lose. I think that's going to be hard to bet against the Bucks on that one.
Yeah, I personally don't. And I've seen a lot of things here lately too that everyone thinks that for some reason Dallas is going to come out here and pull out the upset. Which, I mean, again, if Dak Prescott can somehow come out here and play like...
Well, I'll tell you what, if you truly believe that they're at a plus 310 money line just means a flat-out win. If you really are that high on the Cowboys, it's not a bad line. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But I'm gonna definitely go Bucks. Next game we have Steelers at Buffalo Bills.
I think this is a really weird one too.
Yep, we got Steelers at plus 6.5. We got Bills at minus 6.5. So basically, for the Steelers to hit on the line, they have to win by a touchdown.
I think Buffalo's looked too good lately.
Yeah.
Last year they looked phenomenal. I definitely think that as far as the preseason goes, Josh Allen in that last game still balled out. I'm definitely going Buffalo Bills here.
Me too. I mean, I think that's an easy one. You don't know what defense you're getting. From the Steelers.
Remind me next time to bring another pen.
Yeah, I have one somewhere, but I don't know where. So next up, we got the New York Jets at Carolina. Sam Darnold versus his old team. We got New York at plus 5.5, and we got Carolina at minus 5.5. Money line is plus 210 on the Jets, minus 255 on Panthers. Does Sam Darnold come out and just put it on the Jets to show what they're missing out on?
I'm gonna be honest. As far as making a bet goes, I would actually probably bet on the Jets.
Really?
As maybe like an upset Jet like bet. I do think that Carolina's gonna win this game, but I don't think that Jets bet.
You think it's gonna be a close game?
Yeah.
Because if Carolina wins, but if they only win by like say 3, you still hit on the line.
Yeah.
So
I do think it's gonna be a close game, unless Christian McCaffrey for some reason comes out here and plays like MVP Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, so that's where I'm going to have to differ. I'm going to have to go with Panthers just for the fact of it's Zach Wilson's first game in the NFL.
I mean, like I said, I still think Carolina's going to win this game.
Yeah. So you would go money, or you would go just the spread.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next up we got Jacksonville versus Texans at the Texans. You got Jacksonville at -2.5 and Texans at +2.5. Deshaun Watson's not playing, so I would go Jags.
I mean, Tyrod Taylor is still a pretty capable quarterback for sure.
But what weapons do they have?
Yeah, it's really the issue. I mean, their running back core is, probably a little bit deeper than people would probably think. They got David Johnson. They got. Do they still have Duke Johnson?
They might.
I do think they still have Duke Johnson. Who was the other one we were talking about earlier?
David Johnson.
No, we just said him. I don't think the Texans are going to win this game. I think that it's a losing bet. This team has way too much going on. But now that I've talked it out loud, I want to know their... Mark Ingram is their projected Week 1 starter.
That's right. Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram, David Johnson, Phillip Lindsay, Rex Burkhead. They do not have David Johnson or Duke Johnson.
Okay, so I would...
Yeah, their weapons are Brandon Cooks and Chris Conley, who are both capable receivers in their own right. But I don't think that's a good bet.
Oh, hell of a game next. We got Arizona at Tennessee.
See, I'm going Arizona.
Same. I thought we were going to disagree on that one, but in my opinion, I think it's going to take time for Julio and Tannehill to have that connection with the Cardinals' front four. I think it's going to be. It is Derrick Henry, but I think it is still going to be a little frustrating.
I think if Derrick Henry goes off for 200 yards, I think that this pressure on Tannehill might make him crack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I really like Arizona.
Because it almost seems like they're going to be able to, with this kind of pressure, they're going to be able to get to the quarterback without a blitz, which is a huge thing in the NFL. They've always said the only way you beat Tom Brady is to rush with 4 and get to him consistently. And I think that a team that can do that has a chance to win damn near any game.
Yep.
If Derrick Henry goes off for 200-plus yards, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion at that point because it is Derrick Henry.
Now, Arizona does have also a +3. And they're +128, so I would almost take the money line on Arizona. The odds for the spread are -118, but it's a +128 on the Cardinals. They're projected. They're the underdogs, so I like that bet, honestly, Arizona. Next up, we got Eagles at the Falcons. I'm going to go with the Jets. No, I'm kidding. What game are we getting? Are we getting a Falcons team that...
I personally don't think you can bet on the Eagles because their quarterback situation's kind of messed up. I think Jalen Hurts, why he has a chance to play great. I don't think that this team outplays the Falcons. I think that... You really think you're going with the Eagles?
I mean, look at last year. I was so high on the Vikings beating the Falcons, and we fucking lost.
Look at their skill positions. Like, Miles Sanders is all right, but he's not anything to write home about. The wide receiver core sucks with the exception of an unproven rookie.
Yeah.
This offense is just a big question mark. Jalen Hurts is a pretty big question mark as far as quarterback goes, unless they're going to go Minshew Mania or Joe Cool, which I don't think they do this early. I think this is Jalen Hurts' team until he proves otherwise. I don't know. If you like the Eagles, it's on you, but I don't think I can bet against the Falcons here.
That's a tough one. That's almost a game you want to stay away from, to be honest. But if I would have had to pick them, I think it's going to be Calvin Ridley. It's probably going to be the Falcons.
Like, if the Eagles had maybe, like, an elite running back, I could see it, because I don't think the front line of the Falcons is all that. I mean, they have Grady Jarrett, but what else do they got?
Yeah.
They don't really have a whole lot of great corners either, so if they had some good wide receivers, I could also see it, but I just think the Eagles, as far as skill positions, are severely lacking.
So next up is another game you want to stay away from. We got Chargers at Washington. We got Chargers at -1 and Washington at +1. Spread's good.
I've learned my lesson. Fitzmagic all the way. Every time I've ever bet on Ryan Fitzpatrick, this man proves me wrong, and I end up losing.
So who are you going with?
Washington football team.
Really?
I'm
going Chargers, man.
Fitzmagic. He is a hell of a thing.
Our first disagreement. I like the Chargers. I think Eckler's gonna come back out. Man,
See, I think that front seven is going to do a lot. Their skill positions, Antonio Gibson is all right. Their receiver core is Terry. They got Scary Terry still.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is a team that's going to surprise a lot of people.
All right, next up we have 49ers at Detroit.
I don't know that there is a game this season that I like Detroit winning, so.
So the odds are plus or minus 360 for the 49ers, plus 290 for the Lions. With that defense, I'd have to go 49ers.
I was going to say, as much as it'd be fun to throw a little bit of money on the Lions,
It would be, but...
I don't think it's a game that in the right headspace.
But is this a game that Dan Campbell comes out and goes like, you know what, I don't give a fuck, we're going on 4th down if it's close. We have something to prove. You don't know. You know what I mean?
Do you think Jared Goff is that guy and not Sean McVay's system? Because look how he played pre-Sean McVay.
Yeah.
It was not good. I know he was still young and inexperienced, but Jared Goff, I just don't trust. Who knows? Maybe when we get 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road, Jared Goff will come out here and look like maybe Jared Goff from 3 seasons ago.
And you also got to look on the other side of it is the fact of Garoppolo's playing for his job.
Yeah, he could go out here and just ball out.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo might look at this like, I'm about to lose my job to a rookie, which, for being honest, eventually he's going to lose that job anyways. The team doesn't take a player that high and not eventually start him. So Jimmy's pretty much playing for his starting job now and maybe his starting job in the future with another team.
Okay, next up. Tough one. We got Seattle at the Colts.
Seattle. Week 1, Seattle. If this was maybe 3, 4 weeks down the road, maybe be the Colts.
I think the fact of them not having Wentz. If Wentz was playing...
Or Quentin Nelson.
Yeah, if they were playing, I'd probably put the Colts.
Brown, you still in here?
Yeah, Brown, you still in here? It's 9. They're probably doing head count, so probably not.
I was going to say, I wonder what his line would be.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go Seattle because I just don't trust that Colts offense. When I see it in action, full on first week 1, that's going to be a different story.
I'm calling upset alert on the next game.
We got Minnesota and Cincinnati. Everyone, you already know what my answer is. I'm fucking wearing it. So, Vikings. My boy, Kirk Cousins, gonna have a 300-yard game, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick.
I'm definitely going the Bengals. I think you should too. I don't know. I when it comes to this season, when in doubt, unless I think it's a clear, like, you're playing the Texans, I think I'm just going to vote against you.
Okay.
And I think, honestly, as far as an upset goes, I like the Bengals. Maybe Joe Burrow comes out.
I mean, hey, look at the times I've bet against you with the Ravens. I win. All right, next up, we got Dolphins in. We got Miami and New England.
You want to bet on Joe B off an ACL and a terrible line? Listen.
Hold on. Let's go. Let's rewind. Not only is it a bad line, they have the worst. Okay, not the worst.
Listen, I just fucking hate Minnesota.
He likes betting against me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's pretty much just fuck Nick, for being honest. Do I think the Vikings are going to win? Yeah. But the Bengals are going to win.
So you also got to look at their pass coverage with the Bengals were bottom 8 in the league last year. Their rushing was also bottom 8.
I make terrible picks because of it.
But why make terrible picks? Why not? It's only money.
Yeah, I mean, what's, $10?
I mean, the Vikings at minus 180, not great. It'd be a good parlay team, in my opinion.
I would say just for the sake of being different, because Nick and I have agreed on a lot of picks, I think that's really why I'm going with the Bengals.
Okay, I think
the Vikings have this game hand in hand, but I think for this season I'm going to bet against Nick as far as Minnesota, just for the sake of, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but if I win, I get the rub in his face.
Yeah.
That's really...
All I gotta say is, so we'll be doing a weekly podcast after every game. So the last game's on Monday, so it'll be hopefully between Monday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Thursday. we'll try to figure it out. But this next game we might disagree on. We have Miami and New England.
You going Miami?
I might go Miami.
I'm going Mac Jones, baby.
I'm going a second-year quarterback versus a first. I'm going Miami. They have a plus 132. I would like to see New England win. I think it's going to get time for that offense to start getting their groove.
When it comes to betting, like when it comes to young quarterbacks playing Bill Belichick has a history of dominating young quarterbacks. I know it's normally rookies, but if we're being honest, this is almost kind of Tua's rookie season at the number one quarterback. You know what I mean? Because it's really, he didn't have a full off season as far as getting starter reps last year.
Yeah.
So this is his first full off season. So I don't know. I definitely like New England here. I know Mac Jones is unproven, but who knows?
Hell of a game. We got Cleveland at Kansas City. I'm going the fucking upset, and I'm going with the Browns, and I'd love to see that, dude. You going Chiefs?
I am going Chiefs.
I just think with that,
I like a lot of the moves the Chiefs made in the offseason.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the Browns are my lock of the week.
Really?
I might put the Browns in my lock of the week. They have a plus 6.5 spread. That means the Kansas City has to win by a touchdown. Week 1 are usually close games unless they just ball out. But you also got to think all the offensive weapons, all the defensive weapons on the Browns. Can they keep pace with the Chiefs? Or can the Browns defense shut the Chiefs down like the Bucs did?
I mean, honestly, it looked like the way to beat
put pressure on Mahomes.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes is the same way you beat Tom Brady. You rush 4, you have everyone else in coverage. It's the way you beat great quarterbacks. And honestly, the Browns do have that D-line to do it. They have, Myles Garrett. They have Jadeveon Clowney. They have, don't they have Sheldon Richardson?
No, we got Sheldon Richardson.
Who's the D tackle they have that's really good? Hold on. This is something I need to look up. It's been on the tip of my tongue this whole podcast. And if I, for the life of me, cannot. Maybe not. Maybe they don't. Okay, I'm wrong. Never mind. I'm an idiot.
Someone clip that. No, I'm kidding. So, next up, we have Denver and New York. We got a minus 2.5 and a plus 2.5. Minus 2.5 for the Broncos.
I think Denver's defense is honestly going to beat the crap out of Danny Dimes.
I think it's going to be a defensive battle.
You think? Who do the Giants have on defense that's...
I thought they signed people on defense. Man, that's a hard... Teddy Bridgewater I trust more than Danny Dimes.
This is also another game I really want to bet on because it's a toss-up. Okay, well, we're talking about injuries here. This will probably change your opinion. Saquon Barkley's questionable. Kenny Galladay's questionable. Darius Slayton's questionable. Evan Ingram's questionable. Kyle Rudolph's questionable. John Ross is on IR.
I'm going to go Broncos.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a game changer. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, after knowing all this, I'm definitely going Denver.
I have an easy bet next one. We got Green Bay at New Orleans. We got minus 4 spread. We got a 4 spread.
And I'm gonna be honest. I think that the Saints have probably had a rough time as of late with Hurricane.
Yeah. They're also playing in Jacksonville.
Yeah, which is way different. Deddy at 23. ATS on the road.
Damn. He's 23-3 on the road. 21-3 on the road. Damn. You never know. Like I would go Broncos in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, we picked Broncos.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we next up we got Green Bay and New Orleans, which in Jacksonville, because of the hurricane. Has the hurricane affected the Saints' practice? Or are they in Miami already?
Well, I definitely think it hurts them because they haven't been able to be at home. You know, like Green Bay's been able to practice in Green Bay.
You also got to think, though, Saints fans are fucking crazy. They travel. So yeah, it might be
they're not
an away
traveling
game.
that far either.
Yeah, I think it's 8 hours. So it's still going to be a home game for the Saints, I think. But I would still go Green Bay. The -4, I think easily they're probably going to win by 10 points, 10 to 14. I just don't see them stopping Devonta Adams because they've lost some corners.
I still have Marshawn Lattimore.
They got him, but next up, we got Chicago in L.A.
Yeah, I'm LA Rams.
Yeah,
all
that's
day.
Not even a question.
I was going to say, I honestly think that Chicago is going to get their asses handed to them. But who knows? Maybe the Red Rifle will come out here and absolutely dominate. You never know.
Or maybe he gets hurt, Justin Fields comes in and just fucking balls out.
Or Aaron Donald kills them both.
We have Sunday night game. We have Baltimore in Las Vegas. I'm going to go Raiders. Fuck the Ravens. No, I'm kidding.
I was kind of expecting it, honestly, after my comment about the Vikings, for being truthful.
I know.
I'm going Baltimore just for the fact that
oh my gosh. This is kind of a toss-up for me. I want to go Baltimore.
Done with the chat yet. Not quite.
We're almost. He wants to play Apex. I'm sure that's what it is. We're wrapping it up. We're going through our picks this week, and that's what we're going to end on. Don't forget you have to have a lock of the week too. So
I know. I'm after analyzing all the games, I'm gonna.
I think my lock of the week. I'm telling you, it's Browns.
I honestly think mine.
Apex. Hey, here in about. We'll go 10 o'clock ish. 10:15. So I'm gonna eat dinner after this. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go Raiders. I'm gonna go. No, you've been replaced by Fleeg. Cool. I'm gonna go Raiders just for the fact of that defense.
I think we're about to give the Raiders ball 2 more, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I think my lock of the week is gonna be?
Who?
Arizona versus the Titans.
Explain it.
I just think that Arizona made so many moves this offseason. I know sometimes they need time to gel, but I think Arizona as a team is being slept on. The fact that they are considered last in their division to win it, I think it's a joke. I think that they're better than the 49ers. I think in terms of overall team, they're better than Seattle. Seattle might have the better wide receiver tandem and the better quarterback, but I honestly think that Arizona is going to come out here and have a year.
Okay. I do too. I don't. That's not a bad lock of the week, to be honest. I could see Arizona going out and just fucking putting up points. The Titans, they've always been kind of slow going. They don't really come out to the second half, but when you're going against a team like Arizona that has all those threats, I could see it being out of hand fat. I could see maybe like 21-7 going into the third quarter. Arizona up. So I like that pick.
Oh, and A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are questionable for the game. More you know.
Nice. You also got to look at almost everyone's questionable.
I understand that, but they're out. They don't have 2 of their starting O-linemen.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Raiders and the Ravens, they're Monday night. So that's the last game of the week. So my lock is going to be the Browns. His lock's going to be Arizona. So what we're going to do, we need to come up with a punishment week to week. We'll announce it next podcast. And whoever has the most teams right wins that week out of us two. And then we'll just do something. I don't know yet. It'd be cool if you had an airsoft gun and shoot someone in the ass. I know someone does that. It's pretty funny.
What is this? We're not 105.7 The Point.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not the Riz show.
But and then we'll keep track. If I would have to do a parlay though, so parlays, that's how you win more money. I'd always stick from 3 to 5 teams, no more than 5. I really wouldn't even do 5. But if you do 3 good teams, I'd probably have to go. I'd go Bucks, Bills, and Browns just because the Browns will boost up the odds a little bit. Or no, Bucks, Bills, and Cards. That's what I would do.
I think
let's do that real quick and see what the.
I personally think I would probably go Denver, Rams, Arizona. Maybe. I don't think it's a horrible one.
Okay, so if you did the 3-game parlay, $20 on Cardinals, Bucks, and Cards, you'd win about 77. Not bad. Who'd you say?
I went Rams, Denver, Arizona.
You said Denver?
Yeah. They're more towards the bottom. Arizona's like 5th game up.
So on that parlay, so if you have Arizona, Broncos, at Rams on money line, you put $20 down, you win 95. So that's pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I definitely think Denver with injuries is going to look good. I definitely think the Rams are going to win that game, and I still like Arizona.
Yeah, I think we'll do some money lines. We'll do some parlays. We'll do some spreads. What I want to keep track of how much we make on this podcast, and maybe I'll put in like the top corner like each week how much we've made throughout the whole season.
Not telling you how much I spent.
Yeah, we're not saying how much we spent.
That doesn't matter. Don't worry about that.
But yeah. So, any thoughts?
I don't think I have any closing remarks other than the fact that fuck the Minnesota Vikings.
And fuck the Baltimore Ravens. So that's going to be it for the Boys at a Bar Sports Talk. It was fun. We'll do a little bit of overreactions at the close of week 1.
And who knows, maybe our punishment will be more bar related.
That's what I was thinking. Either like a shot of a choice of a, maybe do like a shot of your choice if I lose.
Or maybe chuck a half